Hello, good evening. Chris Hughes from Rebound on UpStreamedia's Facebook and YouTube live channels. Welcome and good evening, firstly. Myself and Luke Gosley open up on the NBL preview show. Luke's last year played for Liverpool, but now playing for Solent, and I see he's wearing his Testrals gear. Welcome, Luke. Hope you're well.
Thank you, you too.
So I thought with us having Barcelona back, it's just I do preview shows. I think we've seen from game week one of Lynch Trophy, Lynch Trophy, sorry, that COVID does get in the way. And I thought if we get this preview show done, see what happens, see what goes on. I thought I'd talk to you about the NBL season, but also recap last weekend. Hope that's well. How you been up? What have you been up to today, my friend?
I've been at university all day, unfortunately. Lectures from 9 till 6 and then hop on this call. So it's been a pretty full-on day just studying, really. So that's been about it. Nothing exciting, really.
Same, with whatever's going on, I'm busy with what you're doing, or sort of try to stay safe, as they say. I thought we'd talk a bit
Yeah,
about game
exactly.
one, of course. Before we start with game one, obviously one with Barking. What, as a team, were you expecting going into that fixture?
Obviously, playing against Barking, they're a great young team, very well coached, and their energy was going to be great the entire game, which they brought that. It was a case of we wanted to play our own game, but we were very much aware that we have to match their energy, which I think we did for most parts of the game. He shot the ball very well and hit, and obviously we knew it was Finn and Veron were going to be the key features of the team, which is what we expected going into it. It showed we had a bit of rust about us, but that's to be expected. It was 7 months off, but I think it was a good team performance. I'm looking to build on that for next week against Essex.
Definitely. I know you watched quite a lot of games of the team, and so do like to be really prepared. Were you guys expecting so much rustiness because you guys probably train yourself, you feel good, but actually there's no substitute for competitive basketball?
Yeah, of course. I mean, before the game, we were all saying that like it's not going to be as perfect as I think it's going to be. Obviously, 7 months is a long time to be off the court. Um, We were expecting to be, I think, a little bit better than we were, but it's to be expected when we were away for so long. And it's our first game as a group, and they're all like new faces, like myself, Zane, Andre, and Orlan are all trying to integrate into a new system with new teammates. So it's going to be an adjustment period, definitely.
And obviously, in relation to that rustiness, do you think you've got that out of the way of the system, or do you think it's going to be game two, game three, or knockouts till you feel sort of as a team similar to maybe the levels you'd expect if we weren't in a COVID situation?
I'm not really sure. It's a hard question to answer, really. I mean, I think it's a team we want to be hitting our stride, like to play our best basketball around January time. So we're aware now, just trying to put the pieces together and just try and look for the long haul, really. But obviously, we want the Rust to go as quickly as possible. So whether that's next game or maybe 3 or 4 down the line, just trying to get out of the system as quickly as possible.
Definitely, and obviously you guys are host bubble, and I know you do uni as well. What were your thoughts on that Essex Rebel versus Worthing game as well? So that's the other one in the bubble this weekend.
Yeah, it was a great game. I mean, we watched it as a team, really. Two different styles of teams. I mean, Essex were getting a lot of threes up, to play great team basketball. Obviously, Worthing are super talented this year with obviously Cameron and Max and Zaire. So it's going to be a great matchup when we play them. I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. So next up, also Sunday, you guys got Essex Rebels, and then maybe one of the people on the South Coast looking forward to on the 25th versus Worthing. So a lot of good games to look forward to. Obviously, you transferred from Liverpool down to Solent. When did you first knew that the Tests were interested in yourself?
It was after the Liverpool game. I was actually injured for that game, and then Matt reached out to me afterwards and was just talking about maybe my plans for next year, studying wise and playing wise. And then after that, it was after the trophy final, he messaged me and was just started to get the things in process right away. So that's how I sort of got involved in the Solent organisation.
Definitely, and obviously you're studying here as well. How are you finding it with all this COVID? Is it all online now, or is it still going into lectures? What's it been like for yourself?
For me personally, it's all online until at least the semester's over. So January is the earliest I'll be back on campus. I know for quite a few courses, people are actually on campus, like I think like physical education, like sports science, and I know like drama and things like that are all on campus where you have to be have that sort of interaction with people.
Definitely. And obviously for the Solar fans watching, it was their first game to see yourself and some of the other players play. What can we expect from some of the new lads like yourself, Andre, Orlan, and the others? What do they bring to the table, do you think?
I mean, Orlan brings his like leadership and his experience. I mean, Andre brings his energy defensively and his 3-point shooting. Myself, I'm just going to be a great teammate, high energy guy, and it's the same with Zane. Really, just trying to learn as much as we possibly can and just try and impact the game as much as we possibly can.
Definitely. And I know you watched that second game all together in the party house. What's it like there? Because I know a lot of you guys live together, and I know you're staying with Ian. Give us a little lowdown on the living arrangements and some of the fun times you guys must be having as a team on and off the court.
Um, it's me and Ian living in an apartment just because I'm studying. It'd be a bit of more of a quieter area, and then it's the other Luke, John Lassie, Travis, and Andre in the other house. It's just great because it's a great communal place for us all to sort of get to know each other and just really chill out and just bond as a team, which is what everyone needs really.
Definitely a bit light-hearted fun with everything going on in the background. From as you said,
Yeah.
you watched all of them. Were there some teams that stuck out for you, or was it a bit hard to say with the Rusties involved?
It's hard to say. I mean, Thames Valley looks okay. Obviously, Worthing and Essex both look strong. I like watching the Bradford game because obviously my two teammates from last year, Time and Uche, were both playing, so great to see them play. I was looking forward to seeing Derby play, look very strong this year, but obviously with the COVID thing, and obviously Loughborough would have been great to see, but obviously COVID got in the way of that. But it's a long season. I'm sure we'll see everyone play a lot, so it's too early to sort of scout for teams.
Definitely. And obviously, Tyler was one of the later announced players at Bradford. Maybe people don't know him. What's so good about his game? What are the bits that we should be looking out for? To see, I remember he was making some double doubles with Liverpool towards the end of the season, definitely helping them sort of fight relegations. It was
Yeah, Tam's just a great teammate. He'll buy in defensively. He's a guy who can, in my opinion, guard 1-3-4 very effectively. He's a great shooter and he's a very positive guy. Like when you positive touch or it's not going quite right, he'll put your like an arm around your shoulder and really boost your confidence, which is what every teammate needs.
definitely, and I say, looking forward to see how he gets on. I missed that game live because it sort of clashed the other, but I watched back later. I thought Bradford did really well against Newcastle. Um, Going back to the roster, so obviously you said about the guys, what they bring on the court. What have been some of the highlights off the court? Because obviously you guys trained together, either as like a great run in practice or someone made a funny joke. What are some of the lighter things that are going on in the background?
Yeah, just bonding like our team bowling, which we did a while back was hilarious. I mean, obviously, OJ was showing us all his like spin technique, which was like on point. I mean, Ian won in the end, and then obviously Elliot Dad's got about 7 strikes in a row, so he's letting the whole team know about that. It's just everyone's just hilarious on the team, really. I mean, we all get along well, and it's just constant laughs and jokes, really. So I can't really complain about that.
Definitely. Can you sort of give us an insight, maybe what's the sort of aims for the season? I know a lot of players who say about unfinished business. Do you know a bit more depth about that without giving away too much?
Yeah, that's a massive thing for a lot of the players here. I mean, obviously last season was historic, and they sort of brought back everyone apart from Elliot's sentence, which was obviously a massive loss for the team. But obviously, a lot of the guys just want to build on what they did last year, try and improve, and just obviously the aim is to keep the undefeated streak alive.
Definitely. What's Matt Diamond like as a coach? From the outside in, it looks like leaves no stone unturned. But what's some of the things that sort of define him as a coach for yourself?
It's just the unbelievable detail he goes into to everything. Like my first session here, I was like, I'm gonna learn so much because it's things that I wouldn't even thinking about, and but he's in so much detail about it all, like the way we cut, the way we move, just everything's just to a fine point detail, and can't ask for much more from a coach than that.
Definitely. And who, if you had like, because obviously there's a lot of changes within the roster. Who are some of the players you think will make the big leaders in terms of the points, rebounds? Who do you think will be the dominant players on the court, let's say? Or do you think it'd be more team
It's
effort?
tough because we're very. I think the way they played last year was a team effort as well, and I think this year will be. But obviously, we have Travis and Ian, and then I think OJ will be big on the boards this year as well for us. But we have guys who can go for 20 and 10 any sort of given night. I mean, we see like people like Luke off the bench was explosive last year. Jonathan Lashley was explosive last year for us. So anyone can do it. I mean, we saw Andre in his debut in 20 minutes had 17 points. So we have a lot of weapons.
Definitely. And I know I saw reading when the guys had the cameras in, you did your dunk. Do you remember that dunk? You sort of like posted this, like, it's my favourite moment of training. Do you remember that moment? I played it, that dunk.
What dunk? Sorry.
I think it was one you posted on your thing when I think it was our creative corners came in, sort of
Oh,
posted it.
oh, yeah. Just after practice, and I just thought we just running through sets, and I had a little bit of energy left, so I thought I'd give it. I thought I'd try and dunk a little bit, and the team got hype over that. So it's a good energy, was just keeping the energy high and all that. So yeah, it's a good memory to have, really.
Definitely. I mean, not criticise the Lynch trophy at all, but I thought it'd be perfect opportunity for it to be like a dunk contest. I'd love to know if Solent had their own dunk contest. Who do you think would be competing with yourself, or who do you think would do pretty well in the dunk contest?
It wouldn't be me. I'm a game dunker. I can't do any tricks, but there's one person on his team it has to be. Luke Bazumbro has crazy bounce. I think he'd win
Yeah,
easily.
yeah, definitely. Um, Obviously, you talked a bit about some of the guys who you're going to be playing against who play for Liverpool, but obviously, if you guys run up to the BBL and hopefully this season, in terms of their roster, might get more minutes. Do you want to sort of give an insight to maybe BBL fans, maybe what to expect from the two guys that went from Liverpool last season into BBL, might be getting more minutes this season?
What was that? Sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
So, so you meant, yeah, no, we don't mean glitch there, that's fine. So we talked about Tyler's on to Bradford, and obviously that Liverpool team last year was made up for you guys that went up to BBL. What sort of what do you think they'll do this season? I think they might get more minutes. What do you think?
Oh yeah, Jack and Dave, who I'm great friends with, they'll both do very well at Giants. I mean, I know Jack's been offered the starting point guard position, and he'll do fantastically there. He's a very good point guard. Obviously, Dave Wolf, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the country, and personally one of the best rebounds I've ever seen. Mark Rangeley can score the ball all three levels. He's a big guy. He's a legit 6'6", and he's strong, so he can easily do work at the BBL level and contribute to the Cheshire Phoenix team, which is a great organisation.
Definitely, and obviously Liverpool unfortunately got relegated, but you must have spent time in league. And we talk about Elliot going off to BBL, and I always think there's a lot of hidden talent in D1. Are there some players you think, oh, they should be playing in BBL level? Who sort of stands out for yourself?
It's tough because there's a lot of good players. Obviously, I thought Andre would be in BBL this year, but obviously, I'm happy that he's my teammate now. Probably Reece Pinnock, who's at Reading right now. I thought he would have been at the next level. But it's just tough because there is a lot of good British players, and obviously it's BBL is a big commitment. So obviously, people are working at the same time. I mean, there are players like on our team who could also be BBL, but work experience and all that just gets in the way.
Definitely, and obviously Tesha's won the league last year. They're followed close by Hemel, TBC, and Derby as well. One others. Are there any teams in particular you think will really set close this year? Because I've seen some regional recruitment by all of them. Who's some of the teams that stand out for you? Maybe why a bit more depth?
And the teams for me, Hemel always are going to be a good team. Obviously they have Mike and Greg, who, as we saw last year, are very very good players. Um, Also, I think Derby recruited great this season, bringing in a couple of ex-BBL players. So I think they'll be a good challenge. Obviously, Loughborough every year are very well coached, and a couple of the players who are coming there this year will be great. But I think every team is gonna be good. Obviously, Worthing, Essex, everyone's going to be a challenge this year. I think the league overall this year is stronger than last year, so everyone's recruited well. It should be interesting to see who comes out on top.
Definitely, and I from watching days back, even though there was a lot of rustiness, I definitely felt on the court they seemed to be stronger. Uh, Go back a bit Barty. I know we said about Ron and Flynn did well. Were there other people caught the eye from that game?
Yeah, I can't remember. It was number 7. I don't know his name, but he was really attacking Trav, so he showed no fear. I mean, obviously Trav got the better of the matchup as we always expect him to do. But obviously, for me, he impressed me with how he was moving and how he was shooting the ball as well.
And definitely, like you said, you wanted to match that energy. And it was definitely apparent that they had a game plan to go end to end quite quickly, crowd the paint, made hard for Travis. What's the other things you spotted that maybe you weren't expected from them?
Um, just they shot the ball extremely well, but also they handled our pressure and our, I say, physicality extremely well. That just comes down to coaching and not being intimidated at all by playing against an older opposition. And I think this season in EABL they'll be one of the best teams in the country, and I think in D1 they'll be very strong as well this year.
Definitely. And for me, I thought for on easy was solid. Impressed me against so last year. Did get maybe
Yeah.
about the points on the board. May explain to people sort of like, oh, why is he so well this year? Was he getting more shots against you guys? What is it about it that he got more numbers this time around? Was it just shooting well, or was he bigger responsibility?
I think from seeing him play last year to this year, he's definitely taken on a bigger role as a leader. You can see a lot more the ball was in his hands and he was able to make decisions. Whereas last year they had another strong point guard who's gone to America now. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
So obviously the responsibility he was given was bigger, and he knocked his shots down when he took them. When he played very well.
definitely. I thought it was really well. Like, I saw, but he's got a bigger responsibility. I think there might be recruiting a few more players in, but definitely impressive game one. We've got Essex next to you guys on Sunday, hopefully, if nothing happens to COVID. Give us a little bit of proof of that. What you expected from the Essex team if they're fully fit?
If they're fully fit and they have Lee Hodges and Ethan Price, they're going to be a very very big team. We'll see if when they're both back how it will affect their 3 point shooting. Because obviously we saw against Worthing they got a lot of threes up. I mean they shot the lights out. But obviously when you have someone as big as Lee in there, you have to feed him. So it might change the game plan slightly, but I'm sure Matt will know what to do and we'll just adjust to whatever he says.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely noticed they shot the free a bit more. Winter really went off the lights up, like you said. And with Lee come back to D1, it poses a different question in terms of maybe a bit more play in the paint. So it'll be interesting to see that. Um, what's as I say, I appreciate you come on. Usually we'd have someone else on, but Blake obviously couldn't come on. So I appreciate you being under the mic the whole half an hour compared to the rest of it's 15. But
No
um,
problem.
no problem. So with obviously the test fight, we couldn't watch the game. What's some of the things you're hearing? Do you think we'll have fans back soon? What's your understanding of the situation as it is currently?
Understanding it's from it's not looking great. I mean, from where I'm from, Liverpool, I mean, it's gone back into lockdown pretty much now. I mean, gyms are closed and all that, so that doesn't bode well. But hopefully, I think maybe by December, might be able to reevaluate things and get some fans in, even if it's not a full capacity, hopefully. But it's just from what I'm hearing, nothing's in concrete yet, because obviously numbers can spike up and all that. So just got to wait and see.
Definitely, but if it is behind cameras, I think there was a really good production value. So the university guys filming it. Have you watched back the game? What did you think of the productions? I thought it was a really good
Yeah.
production standard of the game.
Yeah, I watched the game back a few times. The production is great. I mean, luckily it's sold up with the Lynch University. We have a lot of access to some of the best facilities in the country, both media-wise and the actual court itself. So we're very lucky to be in the situation that we are. And I thought it was a great media coverage of the game.
Definitely, we'll talk a bit about air. Like, I'd love to get your take on it here. So obviously you got the uni academic side where you're studying with your degree, and you obviously got the gym side in terms of getting the work in and the court. As an overall package, where do you rate the Solent package along other packages in the league and the country?
I think it's right up there, the Loughboroughs, because obviously everyone knows Loughborough is one of the, if not the best university in the country for sport. But from being here at Solent, we're definitely pushing to compete with them. and I'd say it's like second to none in terms of facilities that were allowed in terms of basketball anyway.
Definitely. Um, and sort of before we go off air, 'cause I know we're close to when the next guys come in. Is there a message you'd like to say to the Solent fans watching who maybe couldn't come to the game?
Yeah, it's just we are missing your energy, and we are looking forward to playing in front of you again. We're trying to do you proud on the court, and we'll hopefully see you all soon in the arena.
Definitely, I think that's what we all want to have fans back. How was that playing with no fans? What did you notice the difference, or are you guys locked in? So I know athletes are a different breed, aren't they?
Yeah, like we do try and get locked in, but obviously the energy there, which the fans bring, you just can't deny how much that helps as a factor. I mean, we get locked in and we get focused, but obviously when you're going through a rough spell, the crowd, when it gets behind, really pushes you on. So we are missing that.
Definitely. And I think one of the things I really noticed, especially even while it's in the booth with the guys commentating, sort of just checking the sound, was the energy from the bench. Who are like the loudest guys when on the bench? There was definitely a few guys who were giving you a lot of support on the bench.
Yeah, I think we all try and be loud because we're all aware of the fact that we have to bring our energy to say. So I'd say OJ's loud on the bench. I try and be loud. So does Zane. Andre's very loud. He's very animated as well, as you probably saw from
Yeah,
the film. But yeah, everyone's loud on the bench.
definitely. I say again, sort of, thank you for coming on. Really appreciate your time. I know, the camera's all on you without Blake coming here. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but thank you for coming on, and I hope you have a great evening. Hope you carry on watching the show, and all the best for the
No
season.
problem.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I say thank you again for Luke Dosley for Solent coming on. I really look forward to see how they get on. We're just switching over to the next guys. I believe it's Ray Akpafuri and Ishmael Fontaine from Oaklands and Road Thunder, respectively. So while we're waiting, I just thought I'd let you know. Oh, here we are. Here's Bushman Ray. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir.
How you
You
doing,
alright?
man? I'm
Yeah,
good,
not
man.
too
I'm real good.
bad.
How you doing?
It was good to see you back from injury. Hi, Ishmael. You welcome.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
glad you're here, Ishmael.
sir. Mala Ishmael.
How are we both? You okay?
Yes, I'm good, man. I'm good, man.
I thought we'd get something out of the way first. So Ishmael obviously knew I was commentating on Sunday and definitely sent us a message, went for Doug. Tell us a bit more about that, 'cause that's probably one of my highlights. You guys waved to us when you got the dunk in.
To let everyone know, oh, I came back, redemption. So that's basically what that is.
Definitely, it was a great game, and thanks to both of you coming on. I know Ray come back from injury. How's that been for yourself?
It's been a bit mad. The way it happened annoyed me. Went up for a dunk, blew my knee out. Um, I was out for a while, but obviously over the weekend played the first game, played more than I thought I was going to, and I felt great. I felt good. Obviously, the more the game went on, the better I felt, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to the season now. Nothing lingering, nothing's there, so I'm just in a good spot.
Definitely, and it was great to see. I personally really enjoyed both games. I probably up there's really good games in terms of what this weekend have to offer. But I love that Ishmael, you took the knee as you said you were on this show Friday, and it was great to see both teams reciprocated. Obviously, like this moves you go for a few weeks in terms of taking the knee. Have you noticed a difference in terms of the movement making real change, or do you feel we still need to do something to make real change?
There's still work to do. But it starts with education and awareness. I'm proud of Basketball England and the conversations I've had with a lot of the guys in the board and some of the things that they want to do. Some of the things that they've listened to, some of the players. I'm proud of all the players. I'm proud of people like Brendan Okawankoro, Ryan Bailey, Dominique Allen, Bud Johnston, all these guys, that have been very vocal and behind the scenes and trying to influence change. I'm also proud of the CEO, Stuart Kellett. It takes a big man to listen to other people, especially when you're the head of the spear. And I was really proud and really honored to be able to speak to him one on one, and sometimes in groups about things that could help raise awareness. So yeah, I took the knee, but even though there's definitely things to do, I think we will be a beacon. Basketball England and basketball in England will be a beacon for anti-racism in sport. And I think I think for every sport, football, rugby, following our blueprint, it will be great.
Definitely, I really hope it makes a real change. It's really sad me some of these stories still go on in this day and age, like the Breonna Taylor, how the cops they weren't charged for the shots they shot. It was the shots they missed, and it's really devastating because that was a person's life there. We seem to forget that. I think some of the media it desensitizes us to stuff like that, or maybe they blow under the carpet. But I think more what you guys are doing, the more it says, no, we're not taking this shit. So I can bleep myself out there, and we're doing something about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. So
Yeah, for
hopefully
sure.
we see some change. So I thought we'd talk about the game. Obviously, Bushman, you said yourself got a few more minutes than you expecting. I was really excited by your team. I thought you guys gave TBC a really good going. How was that game
Yeah.
for you?
No, I was just saying, like, it was. I think the way we came out the blocks, we came out like a house on fire, and our style of play is like everything's just really different from how it was last year. From the way we started, just the way we started like workouts, the type of players that we've recruited. We've had like a set way of doing things. We've sort of created a culture, considering it's the first open Wolves team, and we reflected that culture on the court, especially in the first half. We really showed how we're going to go out, how we're going to compete at that level. And I felt like when we went up against Thames Valley, they couldn't do a lot to sort of stop what we were trying to do, which was nice. It's sort of a stepping stone, and you know gives us room for progression. Um, just for us to continue to do what we got to do.
Definitely. I really enjoyed it. There were some good moments. There's Jordan Santiago buzz beater. You guys did really well in the bits. What were some of your highlights before I move on to Ish?
Um, just the way we played. It's just we've been working on, our style of play for a few weeks now, and just for us to have the opportunity to sort of use it against one of the top teams in the league and show a lot of success with it, it's just gives us a lot of room for excitement going forward. From a personal note, just me being back out on the floor, getting an offensive rebound. I'm like, oh, I could do this a few weeks ago. So, it's just nice to be out there again and doing my thing and helping the team more than anything, because we were really encouraged with how things went, and we're just itching to get going again.
Definitely. It was definitely good to be out there. I enjoyed commentating on your game, get a bit more experience behind the mic. Ish, obviously, the big news of your game was a new head coach. How was that coming in? Because I know it was sort of a bit last minute, but give us the insight from Mervyn on the new head coach.
I mean, he's a hard worker. He's passionate. He brings the energy. So he's like one of the team, and that's great. He holds people accountable for things that they need to be held accountable for. He does the scouting. He writes notes. He's a coach. I mean, I don't want to rewrite the wheel of coaching. I know people are trying to revolutionize this position, but sometimes it just takes the right person in the right place to have this team mesh together. And I feel like Julian is that guy. So I'm proud of him. I'm happy to be working with him, and I think it'll be good.
Definitely, and that game was a really exciting game. Obviously, congrats on the win. What was some things you thought went really well in that game for you guys?
Well, Cameron scored a lot, so that went good. I
Yeah,
enjoyed watching him cook everybody.
we weren't
I was
expecting
really
that, weren't we?
impressed. Oh yeah, I heard about this kid. I didn't know if he was good enough, but I was proud
Dude's a
of
problem.
the way. Yeah, he's a problem, man. I was really proud of the way our new guys played. I was really proud of Jack Sunderland. He diving on the floor, talking on defense. running the floor, attacking the basket. Like what we didn't have last year. We moved the ball really well. We also played without our big man that no one's seen yet, Howard Crawford. And I don't want to. You're gonna see. You're gonna learn. And Zaire played really well. He's trying to. For me, when we need Zaire to get 30, he will get 30. So I hope everyone thinks, oh yeah, we're just gonna watch him and he's gonna get 8 and he's gonna chill. Do that at your detriment. This is a little teaser I'm giving you. Go ahead and think that he's washed and see what happens. You know, I'm proud of how everyone played, man. Max Richardson is a monster. He plays multiple positions. He's a great teammate. You know, Cameron was explosive, but everyone that came in, everybody, and there's guys that you haven't even seen yet. We got Nick Malone. This guy might be the best shooter in the NBL. Like he might be the best 3-point shooter in the NBL. Like leave him if you want. Like we've got Josh Goodard. He's got great experience, you know, and he's in better shape than he was in last year. We've got these guys that you haven't even seen. Like this is my trailer. This is the trailer right now. So I think a lot of things went well, and a lot of things could be improved on.
That's it. Yeah, I felt like Saya had a role that game, sort of to support the team, get the steals in, get the assists in. So yeah, I definitely, you just tell that he was trying to do the team rather than the individual. Obviously, Howard Crawford didn't come in time. I know you played for him as an Essex MK. Tell us a bit about him, a bit more.
Yeah. Well, it's really, really funny because the first time I met Howard was someone threw him a oop and he caught the oop in 2 hands and he pulled it back and he punched it crazy. And that was the first time I ever met Howard. And then the last time I met Howard, I actually went to the airport to go collect him because that's my brother. I love that man. I've known him for 10 years. I went to the airport to collect him. And in the first practice he practiced in, he caught the oop, held it in 1 hand, pulled it back, and punched it. So if that's not a microcosm of what's to come, I don't know what is.
Definitely. I look forward to seeing him play. I was also told that in the first year of college, Saya shot over him for game winner. Does Saya ever talk about that, you guys, when he's sort of talking a bit about Howard? Or
oh, no, he's very modest, Zaire. He would never tell someone how he scored a game winner on them in his rookie year in Holland. I've never heard this story in my life from Mr. Zaire Taylor. He's a very modest person. He'd never tell that story.
For real. Obviously, you guys got the win over Essex Rebels. What did they play the way you thought they were going to be, or did they surprise you a little bit on Sunday?
They played the way I thought they'd play. Honestly, it's a very good team they've got down there. They've got that Canadian big, and they've got Ben Winter who shot the ball excellently. They have obviously my guy who I love, Sam Newman, who I seen score 30 points in 1 quarter. So I was warning everyone, listen, man, don't play with this kid. He ain't playing. So they've got a very good team and they've got a very good coach. That's another thing. And he's trying to rotate everybody, and everyone's going to be ready to play on that team. So you got to be ready to play them.
Definitely. And Bushman, obviously, it is a change roster which you alluded to, and obviously, Orlen probably going to Solent. And what I'd love to see Ishmael chip in too. It's more of a tactical question rather than a personal about Orlen, but teams will play different ways depending on the player they have. Maybe firstly of Orlen, what do you think we'll see from him if do differently at Solent, or also what impact do you think a new player would have in a different team?
I don't think he's going to do anything differently. I think he's going to add to what they have. I think Orlan is this guy who really you don't have to run anything for. He'll go get off the rim. He's going to be vocal. He's going to play with defensive energy. When I saw him play in Germany, his first time he played in Germany, he was unbelievable. He was unplayable in Germany, and that's probably one of the most influential performances I've ever seen him playing for Iselhorn Kangaroos. So Orlan doesn't need to change his game. He's just bringing what he brings to the table. That's what he's done all his career. So he's definitely an upgrade for Solent.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback on him. Like he's the everything guy. You don't have to run anything for him. very vocal defensively, gets every defensive rebound he needs to. And I think the most important thing about him is that he's a leader. He leads by example on the court, leads by example off the court. He's all about raising chemistry when he's part of a team. Just from my experience with him last year, and yeah, Solent really got huge upgrade, huge upgrade, and it's going to be a lot tougher to play against them, you know, because we have another person to think about. But he's going to be a huge asset for them, and Solent are really fortunate they've got someone like him on their team to add to what they already have.
Of course. In terms of that leadership void, but he obviously you lose from not having him. Who's some of the leaders off the court? What are their personality? They're not leaders but lead by example, or they're quite loud leaders, which we'll see.
Um, at well at Oaklands we have like a group. There's a group of us. I wouldn't say the void isn't the there's I wouldn't say there's a void to fill. I would say that there's a lot of guys that are willing to put the work in to help us can progress to the next level. I myself am sort of one of the guys that want to sort of take up that role. Guys like Jordan Santiago, guys that have been there before. Even James Cunningham that was there last year. Or just a lot of the guys that were around last year or previously were at the academy. A lot of the younger guys can sort of look at us and think, okay, these guys are doing things a certain way, behaving a certain way, carrying themselves a certain way, and you know, then can sort of emulate what we're trying to do or how we carry ourselves so they can, progress as basketball players and off the court as well. So, just having a team of people actually helps because, different people do different things. Some people are vocal, some people lead by example. Even having Evan Walsh around, um, that's a huge plus as well because he's also very vocal too. It's just loads and loads of different styles coming together and, helping drive drive the boat, I guess. But
Definitely.
it's all positive. Like I love it here. I love everyone.
Yeah, no, of course. Slightly off topic, but obviously this season it's just going to be NBL D1. We're not going to have D2, D3, and I know you guys love to sort of share opinions. It's obviously an uncertain time for those clubs and those players. Is there a right way or wrong way these clubs go about sort of trying to get in the party? Because you've got players on Instagram saying D1 clubs got roster spaces. You've got clubs saying we've asked BE to join the D1 for space. And often those come across a bit marmite. But what do you think those players or teams should be doing? Or what's the right way to go about it? So obviously they want to get Barca, which is what we all want to do, really, isn't it? Issue and
That's a
stuff.
tough one, man. That's
I
a tough one. No, go on, Ish. Go
I
on.
think
Go on, Ish.
I think if a team is ready to pay their guys, pay their guys,
Yep.
and run a professional club, maybe they have the right to say, why can't we be in this league? Especially since there's no relegation or promotion. I guess people will see soon the structure of the league, and that could possibly help. But there's a lot of teams that are not ready to look. Liverpool were in our league last year. It was a mess. It was one of the messiest. I didn't want to play them, and I didn't want to play there. So we don't want.
Yeah.
Right now, the league's quality, when you look at us, Thames Valley, Solent, like you look at all the teams, right? You don't want to add teams that are not bringing the league's value up. That's honestly my only, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but this is the reality.
No.
I don't want to see playing. I don't want to play teams where they got 6 guys coming up, and this guy is working over there. I'm not doing that. So, and this is the biggest problem that we have when we're talking about BBL and NBL1, and the BBL guys want to say certain things about NBL1. Those are the kind of teams that mess up the ecosystem of basketball in this country. And that's no disrespect to them. But if you're ready to pay your guys and ready to bring dudes in and have visas and have them living here and have given them weights room and physio and all that stuff, everything, the baseline stuff that you need to run a team, then go for it. I am supporting you. But I'm not trying to hear this team go, we just want to play basketball. Let us play Division 1. And you look at your local league and you're getting smacked by 150. No, we don't want. That's not what we want to do. And you don't have a pathway, and you don't have this, and you don't have that. And dudes, no, I don't want that. And I'm sad
Yeah,
that the
I would,
NBL 2's not going ahead. I'm sad that NBL 3's not going ahead. And I think it should go ahead. I think it's a very stupid decision by
Yeah.
the governing body outside of basketball, because it wasn't basketball decision. Because organized sport normally wields discipline enough for you not to do certain things. And that could prove as a microcosm of how to handle this virus in the first place, right? So people just need to be more disciplined. That's the point. But if we're not going to be organized, like our administration do, like Sarah don't stop. Like our administration, like the people at the back office, she don't stop. She's up. I hear her in the morning. I'm talking to Basketball England about XYZ. I'm doing this. I'm not sure other teams are like that. I'm sure as soon as they leave the basketball court, they're going home and watching Gogglebox or whatever they're doing. I'm not sure every team's ready.
Yeah. But Shay, if you'd like to add to that, I know you sort of nodded quite in agreement with the Liverpool statement. What was it for people not aware that made Liverpool's all that sort of roster not things? There were some issues they had. It wasn't just about the guys on court. It was in terms of other things as well.
I just going there was just so. This isn't a slight on Liverpool because I know a lot of guys
Yes, it
that
is.
played there and no. So, look, for me, I know a lot of guys in it. I'm just saying, as a club, it just wasn't the nicest place to go, man. I didn't enjoy playing against them. Like going there, you don't know who's gonna play, who ain't gonna play, who's around, who ain't around. No one's around to see the games, and it's just I don't know. It's just one of those places that just sucks the life out of you, and it was no different from playing D3. You know,
Right.
especially being
And
there, and
Reece
it's
Haggith
like,
was over there. Reece Haggith was over there. One of the best shooters I ever seen in my life.
yeah, yep,
Dying to try and get a win.
yep,
Dying.
yep,
Every game. They were giving teams wins. So
yeah,
I don't want a repeat of that.
yeah.
Definitely,
It's
and I
not gonna
think
be
this is
like,
where
yeah.
I think it's when
I'm
some of
with
the
you, man. Like,
animosity out of the bottles coming, isn't it? I think teams are looking to
yeah,
say, why can't we be in there? And to Liverpool's credit, I know they would have been promoted the year before, but they weren't ready. Maybe they still
yeah.
weren't ready. But I think that's where some of this
They weren't.
animosity comes from.
They
So
weren't ready, and they
no,
had some
But they
players
were
too,
making
like Mark and Jack and them. They had good players, but as a club, I don't think they were just ready for it.
they
They
were
weren't ready
making
for it at all.
excuses before the season started. They were making excuses
Yeah,
before the season started.
yeah,
And now, if you just I don't want to go on about Liverpool, but
no.
that's what you want to avoid.
Yes.
That's what
yeah.
you want to avoid, basically.
So how
But
can
then
we
with the clubs
avoid
that
that?
want to come up,
Yeah.
with the clubs that
No,
want to
Karen.
come up, though, it's just a question. Do you see any like D2 teams that are better, better run than Liverpool that could get a place in
I
D1
I don't
eventually?
I don't fully understand teams' infrastructures. I
Mm,
won't act like I physically know, but I will say there's a lot of teams out there that think they should play D1, have no pathway. None of their players get paid. The
mm,
coaches gonna look. Let's,
yeah,
this is
yeah. Let's
this
leave the
is
coaches
this is
there. Let's leave the
right.
coaches
This
there
is
because I've got some stuff to say too.
they don't do enough. They don't do enough, and I feel sorry for the teams that want to raise the profile of Division Two, because I think Division Two with the two conferences would be a great. I was really excited to see what
Mm,
Northamptonshire Titans were going to
Yeah.
do in that league, what
yeah,
Westminster Warriors were going to
yeah,
do in that league, what Greenwich Titans were going to do in that league, Ipswich was going to
most
do in that league.
definitely.
If Ipswich said, "Dude, we want to play up," I'd probably be for that.
Yeah,
If I'm honest.
because they got something
Just
in place
knowing how
already.
they run their women's teams, their men's teams, their pathway, the kids that have come out of
Mm,
that team, Veron Easy's from there, Lee Hodges is from there, Sam Newman was over there. So you see how they run it. It's not
mm,
hard.
Definitely.
yeah.
If we were to rewrite the rule book here, guys, what sort of things we talked about? Guys being paid. You talk about the infrastructure. Talk about pathway. Are there any other things that would avoid a Liverpool situation? What other things do you think we haven't tapped already? I know you guys have talked a few stuff already.
Just I think those are the fundamental things that you need to run a professional basketball club. That's what I think. I would love for players to get treated better in some of these teams. I hear a lot of stories. It's just like,
Mm,
mate, that can't happen.
yeah.
I would love more player protection because you got to understand, a lot of players don't get paid enough to deal with what the people on What's Bev have to say. You know, there's this place called What's Bev, and they come out, and most of them talk out their backside. And I'd really like it not to have people who run basketball teams to be on there talking out their butt. I'd love that. So there's two. I think the etiquette needs to get better for the league to get more professional, because that's one thing. And the marketing will get better. I think it's getting better every day. I think the quality of players, you've seen the quality of players. I mean, we've got Andre Arisol in the league. We've got Max Richardson in the league. We've got these amazing players in the league. But most of it is infrastructure. Most of it.
Yeah. I think it might start from the top as well, because like you were
It
saying
starts from the
earlier,
top.
admin's a whole thing. If you can't sort yourself out as a club, then it's gonna be difficult to bring players who want to come and play for you to come and play for you. It's gonna be difficult for you to sort of promote yourself and make approaches and say, yeah, we want a place here when you don't have anything to show for it. So it's just like, yeah, I agree with everything you said, Ish, but it starts from the top as well, man. If you
Yeah, for
can't
sure.
sort your house out, you can't do anything else, man. You know?
Definitely, I think that's where a lot of this comes from. 'Cause there's some teams who ace in some things, like you got D3 teams who have got amazing social media. Maybe your other two teams are a bit more visible, and they're saying all these things. But actually, if you had that standard, we wouldn't have this in-house. Like you say, you don't want to defend people, but you wouldn't have this debate going on Twitter, Facebook, all these other things. It comes from top state. If you want to be D1, you need the infrastructure, you need paying your guys, you need maybe your own facilities, or maybe like dedicated fitness coaches, all this. These things. And I think some guys, they tick some boxes and they're like, hang on a bit, come on, I see this club over there, they haven't got that, they're D1, let me
Mm.
join the party.
Yeah,
I think that's
people
it,
are
isn't it?
looking at what teams don't have instead of what you could add to the league. That's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
mind boggles when you think that way.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
you know.
Definitely. Ishra,
yeah.
you touched upon it. I know you're always praising Max Richardson. I know when we had you on
My
Friday, and
guy.
you talk about RJ Russell, he's your guy. I know. And just to promote the league, for anyone who's not come on, who are some of the players from other teams that you're really impressed and looking forward to watch this season?
Ooh,
There's a kid at Barking. His name's Eddie. Long guard, long arms, good player. Veron Easy's another good one. I
a
like
Bearden. A Barking
Hemel
as
got
well. A
this.
Bearden is.
Hemel got a point guard who's nice. Mike Williams or two guard. They also got a
Yeah,
kid, a guy Teo, who's a winner. He's just a born winner. He plays to win. Reading, they have some great guys. They just picked Chuck up. That was great for their bench. They've got Leon Francis, who's just made of steel. Like all he does is lift weights. It's disgusting. They've got there's loads of guys, man. I mean, Joshua Guademi for Derby. That's a coup. I played against Joshua Guademi a couple of years, and he's a very good player. So there's mountains of players all over the provinces of England. You can find what you need to find. Go and support your team. Go and support your team.
good message. Ish.
Yeah,
Anything you'd like to
man.
ask, Bushman?
I mean, I'm just thinking about all the players I'm not looking forward to.
Crazy.
Leon Francis is one of them. Like my guy, one of the best shooters in the league is at Bradford. You know what I'm
Who's
saying?
that?
Dave Walsh is probably the best. Dave
Oh
Walsh
yeah,
is probably
yeah,
one of the best 3-point shooters I've ever seen, I've ever played with.
yeah,
He's my guy.
yeah.
Like some of the young guys, building at like I was saying, a building at Barking. It's my young buck. He's coming. You said Veron, he's my guy as well. Like there are just so many guys, like young, experienced. Chuck going to Reading. I can't wait to play against him in 2 weeks. Like that's gonna be fun. Like it's just every team's just got an amalgam of talent, and I think this game is in great D1 is in great hands. Whoever comes to see all of the games in the league are just gonna have the best time ever. You're gonna see so much good stuff.
Definitely.
We ain't even mentioned
I mean,
Cam. That's the worst part about it.
yeah.
We ain't even mentioned Cam. Like he's
Who?
that deep.
Who?
I don't know. Tell us more about Cameron. I don't think we know about Cameron.
Fam, Nah, he's ridiculous, man. I don't even know what to say about him. He's fake. He's
Yeah.
fake. He's fake. That's what he is. He's just fake. But it is what it is, man. We've like this league has too much not to see, and I can't wait. I can't wait for the season to start, man.
Well, we still got some time till the coach come on after, so I thought I'd just quickly go back to the bubble. I know I've got the show on Friday with Bubble, who I'm not sure is coming on yet. I know Russell Levinson, Wines MD's source in the Destiny, so I'm looking forward to that show. Ray, obviously you got, I think it's Hemel next. She's obviously got Reading at the end of the season. What are you looking forward to that day, or maybe what you're not looking forward to that day? It's going to be a tough game, but exciting as well.
It's gonna be tough, but I'm looking forward to every challenge. Every game I've got like every time it's game day, I'm like all excited and jumpy, and I can't wait. I can't wait to go. I'm dancing every day. I get to the venue, I'm like ready to go. And I know my teammates are just like that. Game day comes, we just can't wait to step out on the floor and express ourselves and show everyone what we can do. Because the way we're gonna play this year, I don't think a lot of people are prepared for what we can do. And after every training session, we're excited. So when Hem will come over, they're gonna think of us as how we were last season and pinpoint all of the flaws that we had last season. But when we see them, it's gonna be a whole different kettle of fish. New threats, new new ways of attacking, new ways of defending, new ways of just addressing the stuff that Hemel can't do, rather than them picking apart what we can't do. And these are just tune up for us. We're just learning as we go along, and quite frankly, I'm excited. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Saturday. I can't wait to see Reading. I can't wait to go down to Worthing and see you man over there. Like I can't wait. Like I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see Ish and them. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I know, fingers crossed, because I think the league's due start 31st October. Obviously, that's if COVID doesn't affect things. Ish,
Yeah.
bring up your game of Essex. What are the things you are looking forward to seeing against the Rebels?
I mean, we played them already. We got Barking next.
Sorry,
Oh, that's gonna be
I
fun.
watched
Barking.
them.
I shouldn't know that. I was on the comms for that one.
Yeah, all right. I watched them. I watched them play against Solar. I like the way they they're on the offensive glass. I like that. I like how they press the basketball. They run the floor. But I'm not. I'm just more interested in us, to be fair.
Definitely. And what do you? So obviously you're interested in yourself. I understand that. I know what you like. We talked on Friday. Will we see Howard there, or is this clearance come through in time? What else could we see from Worthing we didn't see last weekend?
Oh, I mean, our defense is going to get better every week. Our chemistry will get better every week. Things you expect from a good team, and that's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure who's commentating on it. I'm sure someone else is having a go at it and say thank you both for you coming on and enjoy the rest of your evenings. Hope you can watch the show or rest ahead of the big games this weekend. Stay safe and hopefully see you both soon, all right?
Thank you so much.
Just take it
Be
easy,
safe.
man.
Always
You
pleasure.
too, brother.
Stay safe, guys. So that was an amazing little half hour with Ray Fury and Ishmael Fontaine. Apologies for the getting the team, but I should do. We got Coach. Hi, Coach. You all right?
Hey, Chris, you good?
All good, thanks. Welcome to the show. And we got Coach Chris Hallam in the other window. Welcome to yourself.
Chris, you okay? Hi, Ben. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Chris. Nice to see you, mate.
When I told everyone who was on at the same time, you're like, we go back ages. We know each other. It's all good. No drama here. How do you guys first meet? Let's start with that.
Oh, do you want to take that one, Chris?
Oh, I guess it would be back in national team days, Ben, when we were at camps together. We're coming, and he was head coach. It'd be back in those days, would it?
Yeah, I think that was it, mate. I think was it the under-16 stuff?
Sorry.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, when we were Division A, that was Dwayne Louty, Elgon Lay's group, that team. Yeah, interesting times. That's a long time ago, man. That's 2011.
So you're gonna make me feel older than my hairline already does, mate. Don't go there.
Oh, guys, I was about to say I was commentating on the Essex Rebels were Thunder game, and we had the camera behind me, and I was like, oh gosh, I'm developing a bald spot in the back of my head, so I'm like, let's get a haircut done and make sure there's extra hair on that bit, so otherwise I'll soon be showing a bigger bald spot. I know, obviously, we did get to see either your teams last weekend gone because of COVID.
Listen, guys, I've got to.
You carry on. Oh, I think we lost Chris a little bit.
I
You still there, Chris?
yeah, sorry, it's not a good signal.
That's okay.
Struggling a bit.
While we're waiting for it, Chris, you just refresh your browser. While we do that, I'll just ask Coach Ben a few questions. So, as I was just saying, we obviously didn't get to see your roster this weekend. I understand there's something to watch next weekend, which I'm not sure if you guys can reveal yet. Maybe just an insight of how that roster's taking shape.
So yeah, I obviously last time I was on, I dodged you quite a bit. I've got permission to give you some information this time, Chris. So I don't think there'll be any surprises, but we can talk about the re-signings a little bit. We want to keep the new signings for our release, but we're really happy to have Delaney Powell back. Obviously, Delaney's been a fixture for the team over a number of years. We'll have Kieran Wright back, who, both those guys are Nottingham through and through. So it's fantastic for us to have them. Kieran does so much for the club around Nottingham and on the court for us. So it's great to have those two guys back. We're very happy to have Matt Ward-Hibbert back. Matt's been with us for 2-3 years now, I think, 4 years, something like that. And he's a massive boost to us, both in terms of his experience, his professionalism, and his leadership. He really gives us something in that regard. So I'm really pleased that we've got Matt. We're also returning Lawrence Juffers. Lawrence has only just been able to get back because of various travel conditions and stuff, but he was in training this week. Got back on Thursday, I think his first session was. So he's a massive body in the paint for us. He moves well. He's reasonably versatile at his size. So it's great to have Lawrence back on board. I'm just trying to make sure I don't forget anyone. We've also returned Victor Olarayan. If I probably pronounced Victor's name wrong, sorry, Vic. Vic's a huge spark for us off the bench, huge energy player. Whether he comes off the bench or he starts, just an absolute streak on the court. Just goes from A to B in 0 to 60 in no time at all. So we're really happy to have Vic back as well. I'm forgetting somebody. It'll come to me in a minute. That we've also returned. Bear with me 1 second. I'll just because I'm going to be really annoyed at myself. I don't know about you, Chris. I find I always forget one player whenever I'm doing something.
Yep, I do. Yeah,
listen,
always the way.
I struggle to remember where I've parked the car. Hi guys, sorry about that. I struggle to remember where I've parked the car on game days most days, so don't worry about it.
Well, it's good to have you back, and yep. You got it?
Yeah, so we've also returned who came on with us at the end of last season, Toto Fagbenley. So he'll be playing with us again this year. So that's the last of our returners for this year. And again, Toto's got an awful lot of room to develop. He's already more skilled than I expected him to be. Very versatile for a guy his size, very athletic. So we're really happy to have him as well.
As saying, Chris, obviously we did get a chance to see your guys out on the floor last weekend for COVID. How's preparation going ahead of when you next come on the floor? Has the squad come together yet?
Yeah, pretty good actually. We're pleased with how we're looking. We've got a lot of guys from last season back. We've added a couple of extra pieces. So Leon Henry's joined us. Leon's a good ad for us. He's played with us before. He's quick as a bunny, gets up and down the floor. His game's definitely come on from when he was with us last time. So he's a threat from anywhere on the court, and he's looking sharp. So that's good. We've added a couple of other players in the squad. We've got Philip Lartrey, who's joined us from Westminster. Played there before. He's a young point guard. Lots of upside to his game. He's very aggressive, gets at the basket. I think he'll help us. He's also defends full court, which is obviously playing for KB. You've got to defend full court or you don't play. And we've got a young lad called Ben Holland, who I think played in Essex. I think he's at Nottingham Uni, and he's joining us. He's a scoring guard. We've got a couple of other guys who are stepping up from D2, and in fact we've got a few guys who've wanted to come play because D2's not around. They wanted to come and practice in our bubble. It's been quite interesting to see their sort of reaction when they see a D1 scrimmage to a D2 scrimmage. That's been quite a step up for them, and I think they realise there is definitely a difference. When the game was called off last weekend, we had a closed door scrimmage ourselves, and we just put two groups together. I coached one, KB coached the other, and we just went hard at it at game speed, and it was good to see that.
Definitely. And Coach Ben, I know you said something similar when I had you on the show last time, how the demand for people to come to D1 scrimmage has just more because of D2. Did you get the same feedback from players, sort of they realised the level's a bit different? What was some of their feedback? Because I know you had quite a lot of guys come to your sessions that weren't normally with.
We've
So,
had a
yeah,
few. I think I would sort of echo Chris. I think for a lot of guys, there's some guys who've maybe played or been around D1 teams before who know what it takes, but I think it is a noticeable step up for most players, especially if they've never played at that level. Especially younger guys, maybe they played 1-2 years at D2, then they jump up to D1. So yeah, I'd absolutely agree with Chris on that.
I mean, Ben, I don't know what you think, but I think it's the mental side of the game as much as anything when they're on court. The guys who've been in the league a long time have got that mental resilience that you need to get through the season. And some of the younger players, they haven't been exposed to that, so they haven't learned it yet. They'll get there, but they haven't learned it yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the tactical side of the game as well, Chris, the soft skills, the off-ball skills. A lot of players now who are talented tend to play predominantly with the ball, and they get up to D1, and all of a sudden, well, how do I read an off-ball screen? How do I defend an off-ball screen? So I think you're absolutely right on the mental side of the game.
Also, they won't necessarily be used to the way the game's refereed at that level either, so that'll be interesting to see how they adapt to that this year. There'll be lots of offensive calls that they weren't expecting to get. There'll be lots of the stuff that the guys who've been in D1 for a while will be used to. Sorry, Chris.
No, it's all right. That's great insight. As a fan, obviously, more learn, the more I enjoy the game further, deeper understanding. But as coaches, when you've got a player for D2 coming to D1, typically, is it the mental side that takes long for them to learn, or is it the tactical side? What are some of your challenges when sort of having a player who's sort of rough diamond these polishing? Is it more often than not, is it the mental side, or is it more often than not the tactical side that they need to sort of develop? Start with you, Chris.
Well, I mean, I try and give them feedback in the kind of technical, tactical, physical, and mental side of the game. So, and usually somebody stepping up, there's going to be some feedback you can give them in those four areas. Physically, I would say it's about having that upper body strength to be able to cope with the contact in D1 and having the lateral quickness to be able to keep your man in front. I think that they're really physically, they're really important. I think technically, you got to be technically sound. You can't be thinking about your shot. You can't be thinking about your ball handling. That's got to be technically absolutely there, because you'll get shown up if it's not. I think tactically, as Ben said, really just exposing them to the game at that level is going to help them, and it's hard to give them that without them playing in games. So players that get limited minutes get limited exposure to the tactics they need. And the mental side, that's just about constantly being there, either as a a mentor to try and help them when they're struggling, or if you need to get into it with them toe to toe about what they've said they're going to do and what they're not bringing. It's that type of stuff. So, what do you think, Ben?
No, I agree, and I think a lot of it depends on where the player's coming from. If you get kids, say, straight out of an EABL academy, they're going to be well grounded in the game, but typically EABL teams play one specific style, and then you're coming into D1 and you might see 3 or 4 styles over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they don't have that kind of grounding. So and then again, I think the physical side, it's slightly different. If you've got a guy coming in who's been playing D2 for 3-4 years, they might have that kind of knowledge, but they don't have the tactical stuff that we talked about, and maybe they're not ready for that, as Chris said, the mental side of the game, because it is different, and you can get away with certain things physically in a D2 or a D3 environment that you're not going to get away. You come in against some of these big guys in Division 1 and you go up and you don't have that upper body strength, you don't have that lift, you don't know what kind of finishes you use against a 7-footer. It's a very different environment to adapt to.
Definitely. I was speaking to Ish and Ray before you guys came on. We had a really interesting debate about not trying to criticise anyone, but that jump up from D2 to D1 is quite a big jump. Obviously, unfortunately, this season we saw both teams go down. If we were rewriting the rules, not to criticise anyone who's made the rules formally, do you think there needs to be a certain standard for D1? What do you think is important when looking at a D1 franchise? Just we all want to grow the game, and if the cream gets to the top, surely that benefits teams. What do you think is important when you look at a D1 franchise in NBL?
I think if you look at the franchises that have been successful, they've probably done 3 things. If you look at clubs like Bradford and ourselves, they've got a core of players that they've developed and kept, and that's one way of doing it. You look at the other franchises that do well, the Readings and those types of clubs, they build on a program that sits underneath them, and they're bringing in young, talented players. Solent have got some great young players on there. Hemel do the same thing. So there are different formulas, I think. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all. If you look at what Nottingham have done to take Ben's team, Lee and the guys there have built up a franchise going through the leagues, and they're proof that you can work your way up and stay there, but don't underestimate how hard it's going to be. It's a bit like the team that got you there is probably not going to be the team that will keep you there. That's probably the challenge that you have. I mean, what do you think, man?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, we do. There are already some sort of governing body mandated things in terms of venues and infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. I think you do need that, absolutely. But I do kind of agree with Chris. There are multiple ways to do it. The guys talked a lot in the last segment about clubs that have a pathway, but your pathway doesn't have to be identical for every single club. Not at all. And there are situations. Not every Division 1 team is going to have an EABL university structure. It's not going to happen. And if you're capable of putting a product out on the floor that can compete, and this year we talked about it, Chris, the league is going to be really, really good. I wish it wasn't a COVID season, because it's going to be so competitive all around, I think. And as long as that is the product that's out on the floor, I don't think we need a one-size-fits-all, or everybody fits one size, more like strategy. But there do need to be restrictions and requirements. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, I do love the model where you've got an EABL structure that can feed a D1 program. I think that's great for the young talent. But you take the area of the country that we're in the East Midlands. There's Loughborough, Leicester, Nottingham, and Derby, all in the East Midlands. You're going to be competing for a fairly small group of players that are graduating out of the EABL. If those clubs are all run on that feed, it's because geographically there's 15, 20 miles between all of those places. It's hard, and we've seen players move around those clubs. Last year we had Ewan, who joined us from Hoods. There are players who move around. I heard you talking about Leome Francis in the last section. I've coached Leome at Derby, and I've coached him at Leicester. And I've played against him for 2 other D1 clubs as well. So
Definitely, Ben. You mentioned how it's going to be such a competitive year. That was the first bit that I noticed watching this weekend's games. No one sort of walked over anyone. There was lots of really close games. Maybe the teams who sort of finished lower down or come up from D2, they really impressed me. Looking at those games from a coach perspective, which coaches do you think had the best game plans for game weekend one?
I mean, I honestly, I don't know. I don't know that anybody really had game plans. It's impossible to scout at the moment. There's been so much change, in terms of scouting, and I think everybody was kind of focused on their own team and what they do. It was really interesting for me and I'm sure for Chris and other coaches to see the styles of play. I think they were all reasonably well defined. You could see what teams are going to run what style. So, Matt Guyman at Solent's always going to do a fantastic job. Matt's a great coach. I thought Worthing looked very, very strong, but I think there's also a lot of new pieces that they're trying to figure out. I was quite impressed with Essex and the way they play. I really like their big. Really like that. Is he Canadian, the big guy? Yeah, really liked
I thought
him.
it was good.
Thought he was very strong. So I also thought it was interesting watching Bradford play because compared to what I saw of them last year, they look like they've had a big style change in the way that they're looking to play this year. And it may just be that they're not, they're not that far into their program where they put a lot of sets in, but I thought they played a lot more loose sort of player decision-making style than we saw last year. So that'll be interesting to see as well.
Definitely. What are your thoughts, Chris? I think Coach Ree summed up the first bubble. Maybe you want to take one of the other teams. What are some of your insights from watching games back?
Yeah, I think like Ben, it was interesting to see. I mean, let's face it, it was just good to see some basketball, right? It was,
of course,
it was good to see some people playing ball. What my experience tells me in D1 is that it's super early for us to be judging. I've been involved in the Warriors now for 10, 11 years, and we've had a great early season and a terrible after Christmas, and it's been the other way around. So you just don't know how it will go. I was quite impressed with the way Barking started. Actually, I thought they came out firing. They look good. They're young guys. I know you got James on later. There's a lot of upside with it when you've got a group like that. So, and those groups like that will come and surprise people. They will take the better teams. They'll take them to the wire in this league because, as Ben said, it's going to be tight. You're going to have to scrap for points. I mean, even last year and the year before, we had something like 9 games where there was 4 points between winning and losing. It's tight, and it does come down to making those free throws, making those big decisions, missing that 3-point shot when you need it. It does come down to those things. So, yeah, it's going to be good. I think it is going to be competitive, and who knows who'll come out. If Solent are going to be, everybody's going to look to them after the season they had last year and think, they're the guys to knock down. And it would be great if somebody could. Let's face it, that's a tight outfit. But do you know what? There's going to be lots on their heels, I think, this year.
Definitely, and obviously we said earlier, but you guys couldn't play because of COVID. Can you give us any update on where you guys are, whether there's any veterans your team or whether you guys are good to go for this weekend? I've heard some things, but just wait for official announcement. You'll start, Ben.
Well, we're good. We're good to go for this weekend. We think Ben. We think we're good to go for this weekend. What about you, Ben?
I am literally touching wood as I speak, but yeah, we are good to go. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm not going to tempt fate. We've got a couple of ankle injuries, which I think are COVID related. To be honest, guys coming in, they've kept in shape in the gym, but maybe not been up and running. But we're good to go. We'll have a team ready to go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you in person, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you guys playing against each other, if Touchwood.
So we're gonna play on Saturday at Gateway. That's the plan. We'll be playing on Saturday at Gateway. So it'll be part of the trophy. We would have had our fixture at the end of the bubble. We're bringing it forward in the bubble just to get the game out of the way because we got 2 Touchwood COVID-free teams. So we're gonna go for it. And that's gonna be great. Blow the cobwebs away.
I'm really looking forward to that one, but unfortunately, I'm hearing it's not going to be streamed live. Probably the only one in Trophy not. So That's really
And I
sad.
think it's a shame, Chris, but it's the venue at Gateway. The only venue we could get, and venues are hard to get. If we could have used Ben's venue, it would have been no problem streaming. But at Gateway, that we just don't have the camera angles to get anything like a decent stream. So we just can't do it, unfortunately. But it's one of those gyms that kind of meet the standard for D1, but it doesn't help if you're trying to stream it. So it wouldn't be a good product. So I think it's the right choice not to do it, unfortunately.
And it came down to a choice between playing a game with no live stream or not playing a game. And I don't think that was a decision for us as a club or for you guys as a club. I think that was...
Yeah, there'll be live stats. I think there'll be live stats will be for the game. Good. So you'll be able to keep some tabs at it.
And you're sort of saying about injuries and how maybe COVID has maybe influenced those injuries. In terms of because obviously you've gone from no basketball 9 months to guys playing back, do you guys think we're going to see a lot of injuries, or the sport recovery is going to be different? What are your thoughts on it, guys?
I mean,
we're running with a slightly bigger. Sorry, Ben. We're running with a slightly bigger squad than we would normally because we're expecting that individual players, might go down, but we're hoping we could maintain our group so that we could still meet our fixtures. So we are running with a slightly bigger squad. Obviously, there'll be tiers of players within that, but yeah, that's our plan. We'll have slightly more players than we would normally do. They know minutes are going to be limited, but through the season we'll try and get everybody in.
Yeah, and we're very similar, and we're as I said to you, Chris, with this season being what it is, we want to look at developing some youth, some first-year university guys, some of our juniors as well. I think this is the perfect time to take advantage of that. So we're bigger than we would normally be as a squad, and with the D2 situation, we may even get bigger. Who knows? But yeah, I think there is a risk of more injury, but I think the vast majority of
Hopefully it comes back. It's just a slight glitch.
We just lost Ben.
Yeah, I hope he'll come back. But yeah, I have noticed from the outside in, a lot of clubs have bigger rosters, and I think that's so exactly why, isn't it? Just to prepare for everything.
Yeah, and it's not easy because what you don't want to do is disappoint players if you can't give them minutes in the games. But we've been really open with everybody and said, look, this is why we're doing it. We've built a depth chart so we know what we have at each spot, and we know where we're stronger and weaker in terms of numbers of players. So, and like all teams, down the bottom end of the depth chart, the bigger players are harder to come by. So we may play players up in those positions, and there's plenty of guards who are of a good standard kicking around. So
sorry, maybe we lost you there. Do you want to just finish what you were saying?
No, just similar to Chris. I do think there is an increased risk of injury this year. Certainly at the beginning of the season, not so much once we get into it. But at the same time, I think the vast majority of coaches and training staff are going to be aware of that. One of our ankle injuries was just a freak injury. The kid just slid for an extra 6 inches when he should have just taken a step. But I mean, all the guys are in recovery at the moment. We're pretty sure we'll have the full squad back by the time the season itself starts. So hopefully it's just minor stuff like that. You can't mitigate completely for injury, but if we can look after the guys, get the physio in, get some S&C going, we're pretty confident.
Definitely. And Chris, you were saying home is someone attached Solent. On paper, are there any teams that you think will be towards the topper end? And I'll same for you, Ben, as the teams you think will be near the topper end of the table.
Well, Cam's come out the blocks, right? So
that kid's a problem.
He will give you a problem all day long. The more you go at him, the more he likes it. So he's he's going to Wake Forest, isn't he? So and that's a great look for him. It's hard to pick. There are 5 or 6 names that would be in my head. I think I think Worthing could do something. I think Hemel should push on. I think the new guys that are stepping into the league are going to be a problem for a lot of teams. I can see Oakland's doing some stuff and taking some scouts. So it's early.
It's
Leicester
like
Warriors are
isn't it?
obviously good. Leicester Warriors are obviously going to be right up there because we're just a team people don't like to play because we play hard and we go at people and all that kind of stuff. So that's just how it is. It's and that's what I love about the league is there are different. You do see the characters and personalities of the teams coming out. You know what you're going to get when you go away to Hemel. You know what you get when you go to Reading. You know what you're going to face, and it's good because it's different everywhere you go.
Definitely.
And
yourself,
Chris, and when you were
Yep.
saying about Chris Mellor's squad at Bradford, Ben, and what he's done, Chris, he won't even he'll be watching this. He hasn't even got out of bed yet. Tactically, he'll be ready. He's not giving them anything yet.
Oh,
He's just
yeah,
made them
no.
run up and down. He's just made them run up and down and breathe, and then he'll come. The elevator play will be the first one he gives them, and then we'll be away.
Yeah.
So obviously you mentioned Cam, and he obviously had amazing thoughts week one. Shout out if he's watching. How do you defend Cam without giving away your own tactics? But I found sometimes they gave them. Do you get defense come on to help defender, which obviously spaces out other people? Or how do you defend him? It's a tough act to guard.
I mean, the first thing I'd like to give the young man some credit. I saw him play a couple of times last season, and you could see, he's obviously incredibly talented, but you could see the youth in him. Whereas watching that game and considering we've had such a long layoff, I thought he looked a lot more composed. And I also thought, and I think the key thing for somebody at that age is you can see what shot he wants to take. He's not surprising you with his decision. It's can you stop him from taking that shot? And that's a sign of a very talented offensive player. How do you defend him? I mean, it's tough because Worthing don't necessarily run that many sets. They tend to just play organized basketball. So, I think you got to throw some looks. You got to maybe try and keep the ball out of his hands. You got to maybe pressure him. Now they've got, is it Sutherland this year as well? So now they've got a backup guy who can handle the ball and get the ball to Cam off of the reads as well as Zaire. It's not just the two of them doing all of the ball handling, so that takes pressure off Cam and makes him more potent offensively potentially. I think you got to throw some different looks at him. I don't think you can defend a kid like that one way for the whole game and expect to have success.
I agree, Ben. I think what I would say is some basics. Be in stance. Don't be fooled by the fact that he's kind of as he's moving around the court. You're thinking, okay, he's not a threat. You need to be ready to defend if you're guarding him. So you need to be in good defensive position, get your fundamentals right, stay low. Good quick lateral movement, keep him in front as much as you can. You've got to make him take a tough shot. He's gonna score. He's gonna get his. You got to make him take the toughest shot you can. And once the ball's out of his hands, he can't get it back. And really there isn't much else you can do because he's an offensive threat. I think it'd be interesting to see how he matches up against some of the other point guards because he is tall, he's rangy. Some of the other guards are stocky and shorter than him and might have more lateral quickness. So it'll be interesting to see how he does on the defensive end as well because Worthing aren't going to hide him. They're going to need him to defend. They need everybody. You need everybody to defend. So there's as much you can do with a player like that. When you're on offense, to push him on the defensive end as when he's got the ball.
That's it. Attack can sometimes be the best form of defense, and I love what you're saying, Ben. You know what shot he's going to take. I was watching him. I was like, he's going to do a step back three. He just to tell he had that shot in the head. There was nothing to do. I think that would miss.
There were 3 times where you were watching and you saw the setup dribble and you went step back and he shot it and he made 1 or 2, missed 2. But you can't stop him from taking that shot. And there was also the very first baseline drive he made. It was like he's going baseline, the help comes and he hop steps through and he finishes. And, there was help there was rotation. But like Chris says, I think all you can do is try and make him take the toughest possible shot every single time. The problem with Worthing is if you take shots away from Cam, is he going to find Zaire on the 3-point line, Richardson on the 3-point line or under the basket? Sutherland, they have other threats that can play off him.
They do. I say obviously Faith coming on. I say we've got half hour slots. Still one more question to field for you both. Obviously, Coach said about your roster. Chris, is there any names you give out but in your roster? So I know we haven't announced it yet, or do we just have to wait till the season starts?
No, well, you should see pretty much our go-to roster on Saturday. We've got guys returning. Martin Gale, Carl Pearson have returned. Lamin Willen and LG Jabby have returned. We've got Josh Pollock. We're looking to see if we can get Pak Chimponga back with us. So we've got guys that have been with us for a while. Alex Wilson's still with us. So we've got a core group of guys who've been with us for the last 3 or 4 years, who are definitely going to help because we know they can do it at D1. And as I said, that the 3 or 4 additions that we've added, English guys this year, which is good, and young, which is good. So let's see where we go. It's a long old season. Let's see where we are end of March.
Definitely. Let's hope COVID doesn't interrupt the plans. You guys are on a Saturday, just a bit of time, and obviously we can't find the stream because it won't be streamed live, but expect Gateway. What sort of challenge do you expect from each team's roster? First, Ben, what are you expecting from Leicester?
I mean, you get the same thing from Warriors every year, which is and I mean this as a compliment. They make the game dirty, and I don't mean in terms of fouls, but in terms of it's aggressive. They're physical. They get into you. We know it's going to be a fight. Every game against Leicester is a fight, and it's up to us. Can we manage that pressure and that aggressiveness that the Warriors come with? And if we can, then I think we've got a good chance of making it a very good game. If we don't manage that, and if we don't keep our composure, then these guys could be a real problem for us. But like as Chris said, what a Cole Brown team kind of looks like. The feel that they give you. That they're going to come after you. I know Carl Pearson quite well. I know what Carl does out there. Martin Gale's been around a long time. We know what he does. So it's going to be interesting. And obviously, maybe something that you didn't have last year as much, Chris. You've got some fresh young legs now to chuck out some more pressure out there as well, I imagine.
Yeah, we do. And I think if I'm thinking about Nottingham, I think what I'm thinking is how they, the problem for us is if they blend their talents together, because they got a talented roster, and if Ben, and I'm sure Ben can, if he can get that little bit of alchemy going and get that group to work as a team, they're going to be a problem for anybody because they have size, they have quickness, they've got shooting ability, they can hurt you under the basket, they'll defend all 90 feet. They're tough, and I think it's just about finding a group that gels. I guess for you, Ben, that can do that, because there's a lot of talent on there. So I'm just hoping he has a terrible game on Saturday. Let's be honest.
I won't make you any promises, Chris.
Thanks for that.
I say it's a shame it's not streamed live, because actually one of my highlight games watching on the NBL Live was your game last year. Very close, like you say, typical of quite a lot of NBL games. Very few points in it. It was very close. Lots of threes, lots of great plays. So I'm looking forward to see how you guys get on. If that's just live stats, that's fine. I'm glad that you guys start your preparation. Thank you both for coming on, and stay safe, and good luck for next weekend and the rest of the season.
Thanks, Chris. Lot, good to see you, Ben. See you Saturday.
You too, mate. See you Saturday.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.
Right. So next up, we've got Dave Owen and Blaine Freckleton. I'm just quickly have a quick break. Hi, Dave. I'll be with you this Saturday. So I'll take a quick half-time toilet break. Hi, Blaine. Raj, just go for a little toilet break. Dave, you want to introduce yourself about how your journey started stats? Ben, Blaine, a bit about how last weekend went. To say it was a good weekend for you. Dave, do you want to start how you start your blog site?
Yeah, no problem. How's it going, Blaine? You good?
How you doing, Dave? You all right?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Good to virtually meet you, mate.
Yeah, I know. First time.
So yeah, playing basketball, I guess started in 2014 when I kind of looked at National League especially and saw that kind of there wasn't really a lot of coverage in terms of the stats and kind of highlighting the best players week to week. So I kind of took that on as something I wanted to do from a stats basis, because that's my kind of background and knowledge. So guys like Blaine, you would have been around 14, 15, I'm sure, playing National League back then. So when guys like Blaine have a really good season, just making sure there's someone out there letting people know, who the top players are, particularly from a British perspective, which has always been the kind of key for my brand. Just highlighting the best performers, giving them a bit of recognition and reward. Division One, I think, in particular, is quite a sacrifice. Most British guys that play in Division One are working alongside doing it. So, I think when they're making that sacrifice, putting the time into their craft, they deserve a little bit of recognition and coverage. So I try to step in and provide that. And it's nice that that's now grown into, that's routine part of Basketball England's business. So, every time the NBL, we've got some stars putting in some performances, Basketball England are now doing that officially through their channels rather than me having to do it through mine. So it's kind of come full circle really with me now working at Basketball England and helping them to produce that content. So do you want to pick us up from there?
And after a quick little half-time toilet break, it's a long show tonight, 6 till 9:30. Thank you both for coming on. Great support of Dave Owen, one of the Patreon subscribers. It's always good to reward guys who are doing well. Your stats are always invaluable to the work we've done. I didn't know where we're at, so Blaine, obviously, congrats on the win. My thoughts when I was talking to you on Friday were correct. You got Lewis champion. What does he add to your team first?
He adds a lot. Obviously, he's got the BBL experience. He's a good playmaker. He can obviously shoot the ball. Like everyone knows when he was at Northumbria, like he can go for 30 in an instance, just like that. So it's good to have him as like another weapon, but he's a much better playmaker now, like playing in the BBL for a bit more, understands the game much more, and just like a solid guard all round. So it's definitely a great pickup. Obviously a big loss in Martel, but then also a great pickup as well through there. And also I just want to say, obviously nice to meet you, Dave, and obviously how much your work, how far it goes, and like how it affects everyone. And I think in the basketball community, you're really underappreciated. I just want to say thank you for obviously all the work you put in and stuff.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Interesting if I can jump in and ask questions as well, Chris, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course, Dave.
Yeah, just in terms of Lewis, you've obviously seen him as a National League Division 1 player. He's now gone away to the BBL. Would you say he's come back with a higher basketball IQ from having that kind of BBL experience and just kind of training day to day and being in a different environment?
I wouldn't say a higher basketball IQ. I think he always had it there, but I think it's more consistent. He's more of a consistent player. Obviously, IQ would have got a little bit higher, but I wouldn't say it got that much higher. I just think now he's just more. He understands how he needs to be consistent every game and everything, and also just being able to help some of the other guys on the team is crucial because he's obviously seen different things, played with all different people as well, so he understands everyone's different characters and stuff like that. So definitely a big pick. I wouldn't say a higher IQ, but he's learned different things while being in the BBL. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Both you guys came through Northumbria together. How has things changed since then? Like, is the chemistry still there, or does it take a little while to remember each other's game inside out?
I think it's a bit different with Lou because that's like one of my best friends. So even when he was at Bristol, we was talking, we was doing stuff together. So it's not really, it's still the same. Obviously, it's a different team that us and Northumbria, obviously TVC and what Northumbria was, but in the sense of like chemistry, it's always going to be there. Like I know what he wants to shoot, he knows what I want to shoot, and then we know how to interact with each other on a greater level.
Definitely. And Dave Owen say, look, I echo what Blaine says. I think your work's undervalued, and it's great to have you on and kind of want to get you on so people to see you. Maybe in the comments they ask you questions. I'm sure everyone sort of asked questions. It's great, but you felt open to ask them a question. Maybe Dave Owen show at some point. What are your thoughts with Barcelona being back this weekend? What were some of the games that you enjoyed watching?
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to catch all of the Lynch games. I think I'm just having the only one I haven't seen any of is a Solent game, but I'm sure as a Solent fan, you've got that covered from top to bottom. I think the game I really enjoyed, obviously apart from Blaine's game because I love watching Blaine play, but Reading and Hemel I thought was a really good matchup in terms of two really quality rosters. A lot of strong British players as well. It's not just the American contributors on those two teams. So I thought Reading and Hemel, I think those are two really strong rosters. A lot of talent on those two teams. So quite a close game as well. Some new kind of imports on a couple of teams. So yeah, that was an interesting watch for me.
And Blaine, I know you play on Saturday. It's sort of a crowded game of some games overlapping others. Have you had a chance to watch any of them back? Obviously, you got your teams in the bubble. Oh, he's gone.
Oh,
Oh, he's back. Did you manage to catch any of
there
them?
you- No, yeah, I heard most of it. I heard most of it. What games did you catch?
No, I was just saying, like, did you catch any of the games? I know you played on Saturday,
Yeah,
but have you since watched any back?
yeah. So I watched a bit of Hemel and Redden, obviously just for our game, and then I did watch some of the Solent game, and then I watched the Worthing game, Worthing versus like the whole of that game. That was a pretty good game. Yeah, and there was some impressive performances. I think the most exciting one was obviously Cam had 37 or whatever, but I thought the person that's probably going to be like the X Factor. Everyone knows Cam can do what he's going to do, but the X Factor is Max Richardson. Like
Yeah,
he's 100% going to be like that guy for them consistently doing stuff. And obviously we know what other people can do on that team. Zaire can go for 40 whenever he wants to, and then they got all different pieces that obviously help. I thought Barking were actually really good. I thought Barking were like I was quite surprised. Not that I thought they were going to lose, but I'd never heard of any of the kids that were there. Not that I might not be in touch with the younger age of basketball now, but like I obviously know they're going to be coached well and stuff. And I just thought the kids were really good. I thought Flynn was really good compared to what he was last year. Like he's improved a lot. The big guy that Barking had was I don't know his name, but he was solid. And obviously, Solent was Solent. There's not much more to say on that. Solent was Solent.
Of
So
course.
yeah.
that game was
So
quite a
Dave,
close score.
obviously, you all about your work supporting British youngsters. And I like Blaine. I know you didn't watch the game, but I felt Barking, they pressed really well. They got back quickly as they matched that certain transition game. They also sort of crowded paint to limit Travis a bit. Then on the defence end, you had Ferron and Flynn. From that roster on paper, Dave, so any lays stick out for you? What players you've been excited to watch for this season coming?
Is this for the Barking team?
Yeah, the Barking team.
Yeah, I think so they've got an interesting squad this year. I think you typically used to seeing quite a few GB internationals on the Barking roster. Off the top of my head, I know obviously Veron Easy, if that's how you pronounce it correctly, is obviously a GB international. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone else. Apologies if I'm missing anyone. But say Flynn Bourne Raffet, I think he's going to have a real breakout season this year. He's shown flashes previous seasons. I think he'll come through this year. I think the big guy you're referring to might be Emmanuel Canway, possibly. I know he's been mentioned in a few conversations I've had as a talent for the future, and it helps when you kind of 6'8", 6'9", coming through in Div 1. So yeah, but as you say, Blaine is spot on with they're always going to be well coached. The job they do with the kids at Barking there is always outstanding. So they're always going to compete. I think they've got one veteran, haven't they? I think they've got Jace Harrison who's going to play this year to give them some kind of veteran presence.
Apologies to anyone saying audio feedback. I didn't realise when I had my questions I had a stream running simultaneously. So if there's any echo or delayed repeat, that's on my laptop. My bad. Apologies. Blaine, obviously, as a basketball player, you have that inside knowledge. And I was really impressed by Ferron last year, but he maybe not posted the numbers, but he's done better this season. When you look at a squad, and I'm always interested in this, the numbers, they always represent progression. Sometimes people shoot quite a lot. What do you think there's to be seen from him now with more leadership this season? And maybe just players in general having a better effect each year?
Are we talking about Veron? Is it Veron?
Ferron, yeah, and also in general too.
Yeah. I think you can sort of just tell he's sort of a leader on that team. That was the person I was going to mention when I was saying about the Flynn and also Veron. Like everything he's doing just looks so comfortable. Like how he's playing. He's taking shots. No one's really onto him about taking certain shots. Like, you can tell he's the leader. He's helping guys. He's always the first to help someone up and stuff like that. And I think stuff like that is going to get him ready for what he does next year. In the sense of if he wants to stay here, if he goes pro, if he goes to America and stuff like that. So I think him being able to lead that squad is definitely good for his personal development. In the sense of like a guy being able to lead a team is crucial. And I think they do a good job in Barking and having the kids that lead go on to do well outside of after Barking. Yes, if it's an American program, pro or stuff like that, it's a great skill to learn. I think the Barking guys and coaches do a great job with making them guys into that position or letting them be that position on the floor.
Definitely, Dave. And I think one thing that makes this season even more exciting is that we've got so many kids, unfortunately, having to change their education program, come back to UK from America. A lot of British talent coming home for whatever reason. But on a positive spin, from your experience of covering British players, who are some either your 5 players you think are ones most to watch out for? Obviously, you can't name everyone, but who do you think are going to be the standout British players in this season's NBL D1?
So yeah, I've got a list together that I thought it'd be fun if between the 3 of us we put together like a starting 5 of British players on Division 1 rosters this year. So
Yeah.
I'm going to throw out some names. I've tried to kind of put them into sort of 2 guards, 1 wing and 2 forwards because positions are quite kind of flexible in Division 1, but we'll kind of work with it. You can correct me on some positions possibly. So I think if we start with 2 guys that I think are locks, you may argue with me. I think Orlan Jackman's got to be a lock, right? He's got to be in there.
Yeah.
That's a given for me. Cameron Hilder. I find it hard to argue that Cameron shouldn't be in the first 5.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we start off with Cameron and Orlan as 2 of our 5. Then there's probably quite a lot of names. It's probably easier to start with some of the bigger guys because there's less of them. So I'm going to throw out Harrison Gamble. Got to be in the conversation. Lee Hodges has got to be in the conversation. Teo Oyefusi, if that's how you say it correctly.
Yeah.
Leon Francis, impact player at the position. So if we're going to say we need 1 more of them to fill out our 2 forward slots with Orlan, what are you saying, Blaine?
Max Richardson's in there.
Yeah.
There's no Richardson's in there. He has to be for me, personally. No, obviously, offense to all the other guys. Leon is my guy. I love Leon. But Max Richardson, too many skills in how tall he is and how agile he is and who he can guard. He can guard the centre. He was guarding, I don't know the guy's name, but the guy from Essex, and he done an all right job. That guy's 7 foot, or he's close to 7 foot, and he done a good job. He's knocking down threes. He's like Orlan Jackman a bit, I would say. He can shoot the 3 a bit. He's a bit agile. He can defend. I think he blocks more shots than Orlan. Maybe Orlan in his older days, but in his younger days, sorry. But I would definitely put Max Richardson up there personally as one of them.
Definitely.
We can discuss.
I post this weekend totally Max Richardson. I thought dominated that Worthing Essex day. I thought, to me, even though numbers wise Cam had an amazing game, for me, I was saying, I think he's my man of the match. He blocked a couple of shots. He was an all-round game investment. That's why as Dave alluded to, I am a Solent fan. I did when I watched him when he was against Loughborough. I always thought watched in the nice way as a Solent fan. Hated watching him play this. He always had a good game. I was going to say Harrison Gamble this weekend. I still think he's a great talent. He was the only player who actually got 30 against Solent. I just think he's a big but shoots a 3 really well. Dominates paint quite good. He has a lot of to his game, but I think going from what I was thinking before and then watching him come back in a new side of Worthings, I think it's easy to do it in one team. If you do it in one team, you kind of say, well, he had help, we had this person. But actually, I saw him with Worthing, with Loughborough. I think I'll probably side with Max.
Okay, interesting. A couple of other names I had were like Oliver Stanley, who I think's really underrated in the league as a kind of undersized big man who's really stepped up actually the last 2 seasons. The young fella, Sam Grant at Reading, he's like a 6'8" forward. He's got some skills and talent. He's going to have a big future. Dominic Ives, who no one really talks about too much, but he's come in the last couple of seasons and looked really good. So you're both going for Orlan and Max Richardson as your pair in the front court?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Blaine?
yeah, I think so. I
It's tough when
definitely,
you're playing after the stretch.
yeah,
You probably have like
I'm,
8-9
I'm gonna
WhatsApps
definitely,
and friended
so,
you. So
yeah, I'm definitely gonna say this name for now, going into next year on our team. Bernard
yeah,
um,
Ted.
Yeah.
Yep.
has had like a first half of the season last year, and some of the stuff he's doing this year in practice, and like when he gets his feet, he's gonna be good. He was at Brunel last year, and he was killing some BBL guys when they played on a Wednesday. So he can definitely play. So that's one I put out there for potentially coming in or coming up to next year, 100%.
Yeah, I think they're ones to watch because I know I
Yes.
borrow Dave's stats all the time, and I mixed it up with the NBL. I did the NBL the stats per game, but when I did stats per minute, Bernard came up, Sam Grant came up, and they like players that the stats doesn't sell well because they
Yeah.
totally aren't got big parts on the team, so they're not going to put up 20 points, 20 rebounds because they're given short spell if that's injury with Sam or the likes of a talented roster in front of it. No disrespect to any guys on the bench, but definitely two to watch out for. Maybe I haven't seen enough of them in terms of minutes to actually put them on the path list, but definitely be on the bench for sure. I've definitely have.
Yeah.
And Sam Grant, I thought had an excellent game in his bubble game. Maybe didn't get the shots down, but to have that confidence and respect to keep him on the floor, keep trying, shows that his teammates trust him because it was almost like a Kobe show. I think if you had 6 shots, you'd probably be on the bench if you missed them, but he kept him on. They trust him. I think
Yep.
he's definitely one that should be known by the end of the season. So
Yep.
who else we got left to fill, Dave?
Just to finish off the forwards, I'd also shout out Emmanuel Cabangeli, who Newcastle took a bit of a job in at Bradford, but he's got some talent, so he put up some big numbers. So he might be the go-to guy on that team this year.
Yeah, tried to stream out when he had a Mason with Newcastle, one of the stand-up players there.
So you guys got Orlan and Max Richardson. See, I'd be tempted to put Lee Hodges in just because I think he's such a matchup problem in Division 1 with his size and soft touch. I really respect the thing about Lee Hodges is, he's this 7-foot brute, but you look at his free throw percentages and his shooting stroke. He's got a really nice touch for a big guy.
Yeah,
So I always respect
guaranteed
that.
double as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then in the backcourt, we've already got Cameron. So obviously, there's a lot of names that we could put in. Some of them I've kind of put into the wing position, so we'll talk about them later. Arguably, some of them could be guards. So obviously, Lewis Champion, who we've already spoken to about with BBL experience. Rima Lascelles, another guy with BBL experience who showed what he could do at Leicester Riders, obviously a top program. Is it Levi or Levy Noel?
Levi
Noel. Another
Levi,
guy
yeah.
who's coming to Division 1 this year. Obviously, I've got Blaine on my list as well, of course. Bodie, Evan Walsh, who made a pretty good impact in the game. He's going to be big time this year. Andre Arisol, another guy who's graduated from the States and coming. He's at Solent, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he got like 17 points in about a handful of minutes. So definitely had a good debut. Definitely, could be all up there. I haven't seen much of his game to sort of judge, but a lot of people say, I think Ishmael was on Friday saying, with trying to be unbiased, he was saying that he thought he was the most skillful player to come into the league this year. And then he was like, no, Max Richardson, obviously not his Worthing hat on, but yeah, solid picks. I'd be a bit biased, but I think Luke Basimba, I think offers something that's not really seen in the league, that sort of end-to-end transition, dunk, really quick, really hard to guard. Obviously, injury and minutes he didn't get much of, but I think those other names probably come up a little bit higher than him. Who do you have, Blaine?
I'll give you the full list. There's a lot.
You got
so I've also got Sam Newman, Elliot Pads, Reece Pinnock, and a couple of sleepers. I like Andreas Lykoudis at Bradford. I think he's underrated. Rory Winter, I think, had a crazy shooting game in game 1. And I think
Shot lights
he could
out there.
continue to contribute. So there's
We're
a
playing
lot of
guard
guards
heavy league,
to talk
I
about.
think. Dave, while I got you on, it's like, I'd love for your take on it because I love stats, and having your stats, I'm definitely more of a stat person. And you mentioned Elliot Dads, and I think he has a great contribution that's not statable. But if we had like FIBA stats covering everything in the world, what stat do you think is really important that's not covered in the box score, or it's not really seen on your website? What some of the stats you think, darn, that player is the best to do that, but it's not really easy to find out how many numbers he does on that game? For instance, like take a charge or.
So in terms of a stat that doesn't exist, that's kind of missing from the stat world, is that what you're going for? So obviously defense, like the NBA has some kind of weird advanced analytics about defensive rating and kind of the percentage that people shoot compared to when you're guarding them. But I've kind of looked through them and I don't really trust any of them based on the results that they spit out in terms of league leaders. So yeah, obviously defense is never really captured within the stats. So if you're the best defender in Division One, I'm not going to know that. I don't watch enough games consistently. I can't watch 10 games every weekend as much as I'd love to figure out all that kind of stuff. So I think that's always the thing. And then I think as well, some guys you just get that are just really good system players. They just make the team work. They work really well in the system and make a lot of contributions in a lot of areas, but their box score line might be sort of 8-3-2 at the end of the game and doesn't really kind of jump out at you.
Definitely. Blaine, as a guard yourself, who are some of the best defensive guards you think you'll come up to face this season in the NBL D1?
English or both?
Sorry?
English or
in list
both?
or both? Both, yeah, you carry on.
I think Solent, Ian Smith is tough. Ian Smith's very tough. Elliot Dads is tough defensively. Reese Pinnock is another one. And then I feel like everyone played basketball in London knows that Albert Margai is one of the strongest guys you'll ever play against. And when he's picking you up full court, it's a dreadful time. So I think I'd probably say Albert, definitely would be the best defender for me. He's just way too strong.
I've heard that a lot before, actually.
Yeah, unrealistically strong. It's like that, really. So I'd say him. But in a sense of that list, I'll definitely, if I was thinking my top guards.
You're putting yourself in, yeah?
No, I'm not putting myself in there. I'm putting Lewis Champ's definitely in there. I've seen him do way too many things for him not to be in there. Win too many games for him not to be in there. And I think I'm swaying between Evan Walsh and Elliot Dads because I really like Elliot Dads. Like just everything he does defensively, offensively. We played a bit in the summer. He came down here and we scrimmaged a bit, and he's just willing to do anything to win. He'll do anything. He'll grab 5 rebounds, won't take a shot, but then if he's open, he's going to take the shot, and he's going to make it. And his 3-pointer this year is much better than it was last year. I feel like it's gradually been going up anyway, but this year it's much better. Like when he was down here, he was knocking it down. So I think, it'll probably be Lewis and then Elliot Dads, and then obviously Cam's locked in. Max, and then I'll probably go. Who was our second? Orlan.
Sure.
Yeah.
For my pick, I definitely would either Elliot Dads or Reese Pinnock. I think Reese Pinnock do everything, and I think you look at. I often look how they do against the best teams as benchmark because I think anyone to put, without any disrespect, whoever's the 14th, 13th, 12th seed, anyone to put say a 30-10 but Reese for me was the only player who did a triple-double against Solon. For me, I think he tied the debts in there with Cam. I think he's got that all-round game. It's not sort of unbalanced. Like I think he's equally effective defensively and offensively. So I think a good bit of balance. But they have Cam, obviously went Orlan, Matt Richardson, and last one, Reese. Who was the other one we had locked in? I forgot now. So we had Orlan, Jackman, Matt Richardson.
And Max.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
We've still got a bit of time, Dave. Was there another you said you had another sort of question on your research list. Was there another one to
Yeah.
quickly?
So the front court. So we've got Orlan and Max Richardson. I think
Yep.
I went with Lee Hodges. Guards. We've all got
Yep.
Cameron Hildress.
Yep.
So Blaine, did you go with Lewis, your boy, in the end?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Chris, who's
100.
yours? What did you
I
go
think
with
I'll go
Elliot
with
Daz?
Reese. I
Oh,
think
you're going Reese.
Reese
Okay.
was yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you got with the backcourt, you got to think who meshes the best with Cameron Hildress as well, if you're getting technical.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of good guards. So probably lean towards Lewis, to be honest. I think that's the guy. I think with Lewis as well, he can set the table, but he can eat as well. He can be whatever you need him to be in that, that lead guard spot. He's happy to let Cam handle it as well. So I think that would work. So then the wing position, which you could argue quite a few of the guards could probably fall into that in Division One. You got guys like Sam Tolawasi, who's dropped in this year from the BBL. That's a lot of. I think he's about 35-ish now, so that's a veteran presence you could slide in there. Tom Ward, who's done it in Division One for a long time. Martin Gale's done it in Division One. Brendan Okoronkwo, really big fan of Brendan. He's just a winner, does whatever the team needs him to do. Guys like Matt Ward-Hibbert and Delaney Powell at Hoods. And then a couple of young fellas, very uneasy. We've mentioned Blake Bowman, who had a big season last season. I'm sure is going to take another step forward at Division 1 level, dominant at EABL level already. And then I've got three other names at wing position, which are kind of sleeper picks that might break out this season. We saw Time Regent Bascom, who kind of had a good game for Bradford.
Yeah, he switched from Liverpool to Bradford. Yep.
Leon Henry, I think, has signed Leicester Warriors, so he's a guy who's put up numbers across the divisions. And Carl Jimenez, who's just a flamethrower at Loughborough. So there's a few names to consider there. And obviously, if you want to slot any of the guards, we mentioned him before. So Blaine, who's going to finish out your five?
I definitely like Brendan. I like Brendan. Obviously, like you said, 100% what you said. He's a winner. Everywhere he goes, he wins. He does whatever. He'll grab rebounds. He'll steal the ball. He'll guard the best player. Tom Ward is like, he's crazy because he can shoot from anywhere, and his defense isn't like as people would think. His defense isn't bad. He can play defense. Like, he can actually guard people up. But I'd probably personally, if I'm looking Lou in, I'd probably just put Elliot Dads in the wing. You can probably guard bigger guys, but it's close between him and Brendan probably. But I like Elliot Dads' game, so that's where I'd go.
I think I have to echo what Blaine said. For me, Elliot Dads adds, both Elliot and Brendan both add that win at all costs mentality. What thing I really like Elliot's name is that he'll take a charge of the team, and I think that's really underrated in terms of, like, you've got someone running at you, he'll take the foul and he'll enjoy it more than a 3-pointer. You see his face. Blake Bauman, I think, could get on the bench or could force it. I really think he's had a breakout year this year. He's off to the States next year, so it's been the last year we see him. If I had a bias head, I'll say Chris Scarlett for the 3, but I think the others may just chip in a bit more in other ways. He's obviously a good defender, but I think actually Brendan does a bit more rebound presence, has a bit of height as well. But yeah, I think I'll probably go for Elliot Dads, just because I think if I've got Cameron and the other guard there, I think Elliot probably just balances out a bit more. I'm not saying even a bad defender, but I think Elliot does that bit extra defensive cover and doesn't mind the other players handling the ball. But equally, if he's more adept to be in that one spot to sort of hold the ball, bring the ball up, as he showed in the first season. Well, what a half hour, guys. I really appreciate both coming on. I think we definitely have to do this again. I like the format. If not, this year's show, Dave, you're welcome back. Good luck for next weekend. Maybe just quickly, Blaine, just preview the game coming up for you on the weekends. You've got a bubble game coming up from you, so it's I believe it's Hemel for you next.
No, Reading.
Reading, that's it. It's the only round. So.
Yeah, that's right. We play Reading. Obviously, they're going to be a tough team, and they've just obviously lost to Hemel, so them guys are going to be definitely trying to get a win, because I think if we beat them, then they're out. So it's going to be a sort of win at all costs for them. Like you said, they got Reese, they got Leon. The new American point guard looks pretty solid. Looks
Yeah,
like
I
he
like
can
to look
score.
at it.
He does look pretty good. And Sam Grant as well. So they've got a lot of pieces. But I think we're going to be good. I think we got a good team.
Definitely.
We didn't have our full team when we played, which people obviously may have not known. But we've got a few guys that are going to come in and provide and sort of do well for the team. So we're looking forward
Also,
to it
we
definitely.
keep an eye out for new signings. I know a few Northumbria boys still free
Big shout.
agents, but I won't mention any of that. Obviously, Dave, I thought that bubble actually had some really great commentators. You had Vince and Lloyd, and then you also had the Juice Pod guys. Hopefully, those guys back commentating. I thought they picked a punch for me for commentators over in Real. What are some things you liked from their commentary?
Yeah, I think I posted on Twitter about it. I really liked that they brought something different. They were interacting a lot with kind of YouTube comments and bringing people in from the community that obviously they know. And Tossing's little touch that, when he was talking about boxing out or whatever he was talking about, he'd just take that second to explain it, understanding that, they're let's make our sport accessible and let's not have that kind of assumed level of knowledge that everyone understands the terminology. We want, especially if you're thinking like NBL players, their family and friends who might not know anything about basketball are going to watch them because it's their friend or family member. Let's make the game accessible and easy to understand for them.
Definitely. I was personally gutted on my game, but the YouTube comments weren't being posted. I was asking the questions, but I looked back later, like, oh, they turned the comments off. So, unfortunately, hopefully, whoever's commenting on that bubble does have the same technical difficulties. Thank you for both coming on. I've got Greg and Sam Newman on next, so stay tuned if you're watching this. And thank you for both staying on and coming on to talk hoops. I've really enjoyed it. Stay safe and talk to you both soon.
Take
Cheers,
care,
Chris.
guys.
Cheers.
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Well, what a show we've had so far. All the guests we really engaged, some great topics. Welcome back, Sam. How are you?
Not good. Not bad. How are you?
It was good to see you at the game and good to commentate on your game. Hey, Greg, you welcome as well.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Not bad. It doesn't seem like it was. It feels like it was yesterday. We were
Sam?
talking on Friday.
What's up, dude?
So
Yeah.
let's start with Sam. Obviously, the game you didn't get the win, but I think it was a very entertaining game. Break down for you what went well, what didn't in that game.
I don't know. It was a weird game. Like, obviously, we knew Cameron was going to come out swinging, and he did exactly that. I don't think we did particularly well in stopping him early enough. We got to line a fair bit. So I think that was probably a failure on our part. But he's going to get his at the same time. So it's one of those guys, I think, especially this year, that he's going to be trying to prove something more, that you are going to have to contain him a lot rather than just straight up stop him, because he's incredibly talented. But what went well for us is that I think we were undersized. We didn't have Lee, we didn't have Ethan, and we managed to battle on the boards. We managed to keep it competitive, which I think a lot of people asked, if we didn't have both our bigs, would we be able to keep it competitive? Well, I think a lot of people would probably said no. I think we did a good job. Like, I think a lot of people probably took that result as a bit of a shock, and hopefully we can keep doing that and shocking people.
Definitely, I thought it was a very exciting side, and a lot of people say, "Oh, Sam's not got Lee back for him. How's that going to play out?" But I noticed you played with Rory before. For someone who's seen this game at Essex Hearts and Leopards, and to now, obviously he just shoot a free. I said that in commentary. This game is Ipswich, but from you knowing this game inside, what's he brought this year? But maybe he didn't have when you first played him at Essex, or what's he like to play with?
I think this isn't like a shock by any stretch. If you work, I think it's the last game we played together for Leopards. It was against Worthing in the playoffs. I think he had 27, 28, and he hit 6, 7 threes. Like, and if you look at him, how he played in D2 last year, like, I thought he was probably one of the best players, or probably the best player Essex had. Like, this isn't surprising at all. He's talented, works hard, strong, like everything you can want. Like, a really good mate of mine as well. So, like, yeah, I can't say enough good things about Wolves, really.
Definitely, I think it was a very good performance. Obviously, Greg, well done on the win against Reading. Obviously, I think from Sunday to see all the teams a bit rusty, but what were some of the things that went well, but you enjoyed from that game? So there's a lot of highlights from that one.
Oh man, I just love the activity of my team, man. I think we played a lot of just great defense, a lot of active hands. We rebounded the ball really well. I just think we played as a unit, honestly speaking, and we played really hard. We played like a bunch of rhinos out there, and yeah, we just got it done.
Yeah, definitely, and had time to sort of had a bit of highlight plays. There was spin moves, a few dunks. What was like your highlight play from that? Looking back, what might not be a dunk or spin move, but what for you went really well that game? That was sort of in your head at the first thought of that game.
Like yeah, honestly, I think me personally, I think the communication aspect of it on the screen coverages. You know, guarding O'Shane Williams on the screen coverages is really tough because he's a really good shooter, and he's a very talented player. So you know, it's really tough. So I think on my end, just communicating with my guards, you know, which side the screen is coming off, playing both sides, playing in between, bluffing, things of that nature. I think that was pretty impressive on my part, and just rebounding, being tough, and being active on defense. I think that's one of the highlights in my opinion. That's got us the win.
Definitely. And Sam, obviously, you didn't have your big lead, but I was really impressed by the Canadian. Is it Heineken? I think I pronounced it correctly. What were some things that you enjoyed from the game, but maybe to build on for game two to make it even more of a better game for yourselves?
I think we had a really weak third quarter. If you look at the breakdown, we didn't come out strong. We didn't like when we had a bad start. We didn't like rally together and go. I think coming out strong at the third is so important, especially in tight games. That's when you can kind of make or break a game. So I think that's gonna be important for us coming out of the half, going out all quarters, especially against Solent. Like they're not going to take their foot off the gas, so we want to make sure we don't either.
Definitely. And without giving too much away, will there be more for squad for next game? I don't want to give away too much secrets, but do you think you have more players available for next game?
Yeah, no, we've got more players available this time round. We'll have players that weren't there last week.
Yeah. Okay, I won't push you too far, just I don't want to give Solent an added edge.
Yeah.
Mike, same for you, squad-wise. Is it pretty much the same squad for game two, or are we missing one or two coming back? What's the inside
Yeah,
for the Hemel?
yeah, same squad, same people. You know, yeah.
Cool. So obviously we've got that to look forward to, and it should be a really good game. You said you got Solent. You guys got is it Reading? I forgot. It's difficult. You played Reading, sorry. So you got Hemel and
Yeah.
is it TBC this one?
No,
Or is
it's
it Oakland?
Oakland.
Oakland, that's it.
Oakland.
It's hard to keep it up with it. I did post the graphic. I've got to have that on my. So, should be a good game. I think both games should be good. In terms of the squad, and obviously it's a little bit rusty this drag. How far do you think as a team you're ready to go for the season? Do you feel the rustiness is gone, or do you think game two will still see a bit of rustiness from all the teams?
Honestly speaking, I think the rust is gone. I think we're all clicking. I think we're all confident in each other's ability. Practices has been going great. It's been competitive. It's been just really good. Honestly speaking, I think all my teammates are ready at this moment. We're very hungry. We feel like we have something to prove, and we're ready to go. Honestly speaking, I think the rust is gone. I think the rust is honestly gone.
Sam, same for you. I from watching all the games, I felt there was a bit of rustiness. After that game, do you feel like you've got that added match fitness, or do you think there's still a little bit of rust to shake off?
No, I think we're good. Similar to what Greg was saying, like I think everyone on our team's ready to go and whatnot. People have up games, people have down games, but I think that's more what will be happening rather than anyone's rusty per se. I think it's just the ups and downs of basketball.
Definitely, and obviously playing Sunday. Did you get to catch any for Saturday's games or seen them back? Were there any teams that?
I watched the whole of the Hemel game. I was the only one I caught. I had some things to do, but no, I watched the Hemel game its entirety. I could not.
Yeah, and has there any sides that sort of stood out for you in the early doors and maybe ones to watch for you, Sam?
Oh, I don't remember his name. The guard from Reading, the American, I think.
Sharon Williams. He's on later on.
Yeah, he looked like he can shoot, he can get to the ring, he can pass. Like, yeah, good. Obviously, I know the Hemel guys, so it was no surprise that Mike and Greg played well, and Levi was at practice the end of last year. Like, I know these people, so that's how it wasn't that shocking. Along with people like Reese and Leomi from Reading, like we know they're going to be good. So it was quite nice to see their new guy come in and produce straight away.
Definitely, and obviously when the season starts, you'll probably have half an eye on the Hemel fixture. Who are the guys you sort of like saddest to see go? What are some of the? What would be the emotions when you come against Hemel?
I don't know.
See
Like, I don't
Dredge
think I'll be
smiling.
sad per se. Like, there's nothing sad. I'm still going to see them. I'm going to play against them.
Yeah.
It'll probably be more fun playing against them than playing, or not playing with them. But it's going to be just as fun getting to go against them. I'm glad Waleed's back. I really enjoyed playing with Waleed last year. It was nice to see. It's a shame that this is going to be his last season, but then at the same time, I'm glad I get to play against him his last season.
Great. Oh, so, hey Carla, I think you're back on a bit. I think you've used Mike's Greg's tone. 1 second. And Sam, sorry, going back to what you were saying there just then. Is there a player, in terms of the chemistry you had in Hemel, who was sort of like some of the funny guys you played against? Who do you think so? Do you think there's someone who's like put the extra arm in and the hustle? Yeah, who's going to sort of rough you up, or who's going to be like some of the guys who sort of be letting you know that you're on the other team?
Oh, it'll be Bodie, 100%. No doubt in my mind. Bodie will be there the first play of the game, the last play of the game, the whole thing. They probably all would. Mike will be the same, but if I was to think, first person comes to mind, it's only going to be Bodie.
And Greg, what's Bodie like to train with? Do you think that Sam's right there? It'd be Bodie. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think Sam hit it on the head with Bodie. Bodie is very intense, very passionate about the game. He lets you know. He lets you know about everything, every play, every single mishap. He lets you know. So Sam definitely hit it on the head with that with Bodie for sure. We miss you, Sam. We miss you.
So, I got you both on the show. What's it like training together? What are some of the funny stories, funny moments that maybe you won't be able to have this season? I'll start with you, Greg.
Oh man, Sam. So the other American, Mike Williams, he used to always say to Sam that Sam looks like he belongs in a boy band all the time. Like that was just a funny thing Mike used to always say about Sam. And Sam was so reluctant on. Sam is such a good person. He's so reluctant on swearing. So Sam used to say little things like, he would avoid saying curse words all the time. So we used to just make fun of him. Like, Sam, you're too nice. Like, stop making, like just say the curse word. Just say it. Like, just be free, So we definitely miss Sam, in practice and stuff like that. We had a lot of funny moments, just a lot of giggling, a lot of playing around and stuff like that. And yeah, just regular stuff. I really can't.
Yeah. Sam, from you, was there anything you had fond memories of Hemel behind the scenes, like the Hemel Store family would be seeing just absent training? What are some of your best moments of training in terms of camaraderie for Hemel guys?
I don't think I can really think like a specific point, but having to travel was an hour and a half, 2 hours to practice twice a week and whatnot. Like, it would have been hard to keep that up all year without it being like one of the most fun years of basketball I had. Like, all the guys, Greg, Mike, Bodie, Waleed, Jake Murphy, he's not there anymore, but there's such a family there that you can't you get down, you drive the 2 hours, you get there because A, it's gonna be good basketball, and B, it's a family environment. You can have fun. Last year was probably the most fun as a team that I've had in basketball in my whole career. So that's down to him.
Definitely. And you're also joined by another ex-Hemel, Lee Hodges. How long have you guys known each other, and sort of what's it like to be reunited with him at Essex?
I've known Lee since I was 10, 12 years old. I didn't play with him. He played for my dad and Nick Drain at Ipswich. So I've known him for years. I looked up to him as, you're a giant. You're like an older guy I didn't know. And then when I was 16, I think 17, he came back to play for Ipswich in D2. And then I'm pretty sure since then we've only ever had the 2 years where I went to Canada apart. So me and Lee are as good a mates as you can get. And I love playing with him. Can read him inside out, back to front. He's the same with me. Just one of those players. I'm sure Greg's got them. You don't need to talk. You don't argue because you just click and you get things right. So no, it's always amazing to play Lee.
Definitely. And Greg, obviously you reunited Mike this season. Was it like a package deal, or did one happen before the other? Obviously, how did that go during the summer? When did you guys knew you back at the Hemel?
I think we found out maybe like around, I would say, September-ish. That was when it was like confirmed that me and him were both gonna be together. Me and Mike trained a lot over the summer, so we had little conversations about possibly coming back, stuff like that. And really was just exciting, honestly speaking, just to reunite with my old teammate from last year, stuff like that. I know how he plays, how I play. We help each other out, we feed off each other's energy. So yeah, it was just a good thing.
Definitely, and obviously we got a taste of what's come for year 2, but obviously training together. What parts of the game do you think both of you've added most to? What are we going to see from year 2, but maybe we didn't see in year 1 as much?
Man, you're gonna have to find out. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to find out. I can't give you the whole spiel
Can't
because
preview that one first.
we got a Essex Rebels on the other line right here, so we can't give too much.
Too much.
But just letting you know that it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Definitely, and obviously the impulse make such a big part of the league, and we mentioned a bit about O'Showing. I know you're American guys, but you penciled down as ones to watch year 2. I know quite a lot have come back, but who's some of the guys you're looking forward to playing against this season?
Me first?
Greg, so yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to playing everybody, honestly speaking. I don't really have no set individual. We just ready to prove everything. I just wanna just go out there and play every game like it's my last. I said it on the last show. I just wanna just compete, I just wanna compete. It's been a long time since we played basketball. It's been a long 7 months. We've been on lockdown, and I'm just ready to play. I don't have no real set individual I want to go at or anything like that. I just want to prove to the league that Hemel Storm is here, and we're gonna shock the world.
Definitely, I just meant from an American aspect. We talked quite a lot about British players, but who's some of the American players that stick out for you, but are back for year 2?
I mean, I'm familiar with
either
Travis.
you two, yeah, both.
Either.
Show it, Sam. Two, give me a little thing to time. Sam, do you want to take it?
Because I don't know if he's been confirmed to come back, but I'm pretty sure I saw him in a photo for Thames Valley. Taylor, I think Johnson.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
know
back.
if he's
Yeah,
back, but yeah, like he was
disguised
phenomenal
with a beard
year,
and headband season.
Yeah.
I think for him, he's gonna be amazing.
He was really good, but much the same as Greg. Like I'm looking forward to playing all of them. Like, but even him, just because I remember seeing a photo and I remember not seeing him be released. It's nice to have him back because it just brings the level of the league up.
Definitely, like to Thames Valley, Leicester, one or two others are yet to actually release their was. So yeah, like you, when I was watching the Thames Valley game at Wednesday, I was like, that looks like Taylor, but obviously he had beard and headband on. But yeah, it's definitely as along with Lewis Champion and co. And obviously we're stepping up towards the league. If no COVID goes on, hopefully it starts at the end of the month. Greg, how's preparation going? Do you feel that, has all the sets that coach wants? Are you all locked in, or do you feel you still need that 2 weeks or so to be fully ready?
I feel confident in my team, honestly speaking. I think Drew, our head coach, has been doing a wonderful job in implementing new sets, implementing new plays and things of that nature within practice and stuff like that. I think we're all clicking, like I said, we're all getting it. We're all getting confident within the offense now. We're finding different ways to score within the offense. We're also playing really good defense, different schemes on defense and stuff like that. So ultimately, I have utmost confidence in my team, and I think that we're good.
And say for you, Sam, I really enjoy watching your day. You sort of like an attack, sort of pass it around, find the best look. Do you think from Essex we're going to see that, or will there be some sets and plays? And if so, how prepared do you think you are? Or do you still feel you need that 2 weeks to sort of get everything all locked in?
I don't think we'd need the 2 weeks per se. 2 weeks are nice, obviously. We're quite fortunate with the university that we get to go in twice a day sometimes, most days of the week. So all our sets are in, we know them, we can run them. I think a lot of teams are doing the same as us and trying not to put everything on the floor in this preseason tournament because there isn't a whole lot. You don't want to give everyone all your sets straight away. I don't think we need these 2 weeks. I think we would be good to go, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
not take them. We'll make the most, keep practicing, keep playing.
Of course, I think it's a unique opportunity that everyone's doing live stream. It's easier for the coaches to sort of have that. It's there to see what you guys are doing. And obviously, you mentioned on Friday, but being at university, able to train more. But Greg, how's training with Hemel? Has COVID made a big impact in terms of like the accessibility to train, or has it made a big difference to you in terms of when you're on the court training with you guys?
Nah, it hasn't made that much of a difference. Honestly speaking, we still get in there like the same as much as we did last year. Honestly speaking, I feel like our management, Drew, and all of the big guys did a wonderful job of just giving us the gym time and the things that we need in order to perform the way that we need to. So, yeah, nothing has really changed drastically. Honestly speaking.
No, and you definitely say, like you said, that you don't really need 2 weeks. They're nice. Obviously, it's really good to have this preparation time to get everything out of the way. If you haven't had time to look at other things, do you think there's a team that's really stood out for you other than your own in this Lynch Trophy so far, or is it really just too hard to say at the moment, Sam?
Too hard to say. I don't think any one team looks amazing because it's early doors. I think we've all got an idea who the better teams are and who the worst teams are going to be. But it's one game. Like I'm not going to judge anyone off one game. I wouldn't want anyone to judge us off one game, for that example. So, I don't think as of yet, there's no one that I'm like looking that bad yet.
Greg, what about yourself?
Yeah, I agree with Sam on that. I think it's a little bit too soon to tell, kind of, Yeah, the games have been competitive, though. I could say that at the least, though. Games have definitely been very competitive. Lynch Trophy has done a wonderful job of getting this preseason action going for sure. So, but I like Sam said, it's a little bit just too early to tell, really.
Definitely. And finally, before you guys go, I really appreciate you taking your time out, your busy schedules come on, so that you work and play and stuff. How's training going this week, Greg? Has it been a good training session? What have been some of the highlights in training, or do you just do sets, or do you have time to like have a bit of scrimmage? What's training like this week?
Training is just what it's always like. We do a little bit of sets, we do a little bit of scrimmaging and stuff like that. It's been very competitive, which I really like. It's been very fiery within the teammates and stuff like that. We've been competing like a lot, just a lot. A lot of people going at one another, making each other better. Yeah, I honestly feel like practice is where you get better at. And we've been practicing really hard, competing, and I think it shows on the court on Saturday.
Definitely, and the what I got from it was coming into this weekend. There wasn't much scouting because there wasn't many unknowns. But Sam, has there been a little bit more scouting opposition? Bearing in mind you've seen team playing, or is it about the same amount of preparation? It's more about just getting on the court, getting minutes. What's that been in your camp?
We're still focusing on us at the moment. Like we're not really losing our minds over what sets we're going to play, what sets we're going to play. Like I think we're really taking this preseason to get us 3 games in, so we know how to run our stuff. And come to at the end of the month when we play, like of course we'll scout these teams as hard as we would all the time. But no, for this tournament, this is all about us. I think every team's going to be thinking about that.
Definitely. Is that safe for you guys at Greg, or is there a bit of scouting going on at the moment too, or is it just sort of preseason mode?
Yeah, just preseason. I mean, I wouldn't say it's preseason mode. It's just in my opinion, it's just same old, same old. We do have a little film, I guess, of the Lynch Trophy and stuff like that, of the teams playing before us and stuff like that. But yeah, we're just really focusing on ourselves at the moment. Just trying to better equip ourselves, trying to craft as much as we can, and just get better as a team, as a unit.
Definitely, vice versa, both. I really appreciated the honesty and coming on and talking about basketball. Like you said, Greg, you've got Oakland's coming up on Saturday. Sam, you obviously play Solent, so that'd be a tough test. Quickly, just give us a little lowdown what to expect from both teams. First, Greg, what are some of your thoughts about Oakland's?
Oakland's, I think they're pretty young overall. They're fast, they're quick. They have to get up the court really fast. Pretty solid little unit. Fiery come out. I think in the beginning of the game against Thames Valley, they came out, punched them in the mouth first. They got a little lead out first, and I don't think we want to do that with them. We want to get out ahead of them and punch them in the mouth first before they punch us. So yeah, they're a very young team. I feel like they also have nothing to lose as well. So we got to stay on our guards. Those teams are the type of teams that could sneak a win out of you. So
definitely one to watch out for. There'll be a good contest. Sam, obviously, soon probably don't need as much introduction, but what are some of the things you're thinking about? What maybe wanted to prove in that game? What are some things you want to get from that one?
I think we're going to compete. We're going to play with the same kind of fire we did against Worthing. Like, I hope no one rules anyone out against anyone this season. I think we have the pieces to beat anybody. Some are going to be tough. I think everyone knows that, but I'm never going to sit here and say I don't think we beat them, because I full-heartedly believe that we can beat Solent when we play well. Yes, we'll have to play well, but I think this pre-season is the time to learn to play well together. Like, we've only got a few more weeks before the games matter, quote unquote. Like, obviously do matter now, but I don't think we should be playing Solent any less than we would play them in 2 weeks' time when we start the season anyway.
Definitely, I think you both hit the nail on the head with that. I think it's from outside in. It's not just a pre-season trophy. It is opportunity to play better. At the same time, it's not the end of the world if it's a loss, because actually, quote unquote, the season starts at the end of the month. Thank you both for coming on. I wish you all the best. I'm looking forward to more basketball. That's the thing we've not had for some months. I think it's just great to have some basketball. So wish you all the best next weekend, and look forward to see you guys play in the regular season. Stay safe, and again, thanks for coming on this evening.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
So next on, we've got Sharon Williams, who sort of Greg talked highly about in their game with Hemel versus Reading. Welcome, Sharon. You well?
Hey, how you?
Not bad, not bad. I think you did a really good introduction. Oh, do you want to move? That's it. Yeah, that's it. Get yourself in the middle of the pitch so we see. Welcome, and let's say you had a really great game one versus Hemel. How was that game for you?
That was my first pro game, so I think it was pretty good just for our team, just to play against another team. But overall, we just learned a lot from that, so I think we'll be better next game.
Definitely, without revealing too much secret sauce, maybe people watching didn't see the game. Can you give people a little insight about what your game is, what you enjoy doing on the court? What's your game all about, Sharon?
Really, I just go out there and just play hard, play off my instincts, just compete. So I don't really have a game plan when I go out there and play. I just try to make my teammates better, bring positive energy, and just compete every play.
Definitely. We're just waiting on Carl Jimenez. I'm not sure whether he's logged on. 1 second. So obviously, you're with Reading this year, and look forward to see how you get on. How's things been with Reading? What's how's pre-season been going?
I was the last one to get here, so I only got to practice for like a week or two, like a week and a half before the game last week. So I didn't really get to see much, but practices and stuff, it's been pretty good. We compete every day, just getting better every day. And this is a new team. We have a lot of new guys, so we just now learning chemistry and knowing each other and stuff like that. So I feel like we're still learning and stuff right now.
Yeah, I think that's the same for a lot of the teams. While you were just talking there, Carl Jimenez from Loughborough, who will come up against at some point this season, is logged on. Welcome, Carl. I hope you're well.
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Chris.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's such a shame we didn't get to see you guys come on the court on last weekend. How's things in the camp? Is everyone well? That's the most important thing.
It's annoying seeing everyone else getting to play, but we're doing what we need to right now because a lot more students have came back, and so everyone is well within our team. We've got a couple of positive tests, but the main thing is we're all doing the right thing, and no one's seriously ill. It's all like the minor symptoms. Nobody's unwell, like that unwell with it. So fingers crossed that we all stay safe and we're back out of this pretty soon.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you soon. How much of an impact does it have when you have players out injury if it's COVID? Does that really affect the sort of the fine tunings? I know a lot of you guys will know each other's game, but what effect does it have in terms of training and working out with each other?
Well, right now, pretty much most of the guys are isolating, so we've got a great staff around us, so we've all been able to work out within the house. Our S&C head of S&C has been on top of everything, setting us out programs so we can all stay in shape over the 2-week lockdown. It's just going to be like a minor setback in terms of when we get back onto the court. But as long as I know within my house everyone's doing the right thing, so I know it won't be too much of a setback. So everyone will still be in shape by the time we get back on court.
Definitely, and obviously, O'Sharon. Am I saying your name right? Firstly, is it O'Sharon?
It's O'Shawn, but you know,
O'Shawn.
everybody over
Apologies.
there said how
Apologies,
you said,
O'Shawn.
so like now, yeah.
No, I'll say how you say it. So obviously, if you guys have training this week, how's that going? Are you ready for this weekend's game?
Yes, we just had a good practice yesterday. You know, we competed very well. I felt like that was one of our best practices. So I feel like every day we just getting better and, you know, get more comfortable as a team. And I think we'll be ready for this weekend.
Definitely. And you said you were the last to come. Do you feel like you have a good handle, good grip on your players, your squad's strengths and weaknesses, or the game? Do you feel like there's still more to learn?
It's definitely like more to learn with my teammates, but I mean, I feel like I've got like a pretty good like impression of everybody, so I kind of know like where my teammates are and stuff now, but it's still a lot to learn though. Still, I feel like we still have to learn more as a team.
Definitely. And Carl, obviously you've got a few players coming back from the States or coming from other programs to you guys. And I think a lot of rosters do similarly, having a bigger roster. How's that like in terms of training, in terms of maybe face-to-face time with coach? What's it like having that bigger squad to play with this season?
I mean, when we first started, it was completely different from the previous year. Like last year, we had a smaller squad, and sometimes we struggled to get 10 guys to actually be training. If we had a couple injuries, it was tough to like train with. But this year is completely like we're spoiled for choice this year. I mean, it's great having all the new guys here and seeing them get better and better every day. Yeah, we've got a couple of guys coming back from the States, but both Mark and Liam have done a good job of like reaching out to everyone and like creating bonds and connections with all the players, not just the returners. So I feel like we've gelled pretty quickly as a group, but it's definitely going to be a new style of Loughborough basketball with all the new guys in and all. Everyone's hungry to get back out there.
Definitely. You sort of say a new style. I don't want you give away too much and then upsetting coach, but what are some of the things we should be looking for this new side roster in terms of maybe like, is it more 3-point shooting or do you have more players who sort of in transition? What are some of the things to look out for from this left side?
It's a much younger group this year, so I think it's a lot of it's going to be fairly similar, but like a couple of new things. So like obviously we're going to be playing fast paced as usual. But the main thing for us is we've got to come into every single game with an underdog mentality because we're going to be one of the younger teams in the league. We've got a lot to prove, and all the new guys, and the returners know that. So everyone's in the right like mindset in terms of like the way we want to approach every single game. Everyone's on the right trend for that.
Definitely. And same for you, Ocean. What do you feel like are some of the strengths Reading will have this season? We saw a little bit from the last game, but what are some things do you think people who may not know the Reading side that well, what should they expect from you guys this season?
I think coach preach a lot about just competing, you know, no matter what the scoreboard says, just always competing, playing hard. So that's just the main thing. You know, we're gonna give our fans a tough battle every time. You know, we're just gonna play hard, no matter if we're winning or losing, shooting the ball well or any of that. We just gonna always play hard consistently.
Definitely. And so I'm looking forward to see how you get on in your first pro year. What were some of your expectations coming into the UK? Obviously, it's challenged with COVID, but what were some of your thoughts when you knew you were coming to England? What were you expecting?
Honestly, I wasn't really expecting anything. You know, I was just coming over here, really didn't know anything about the UK. So I'm still learning. You know, I'm from like the South in America. So like I'm still learning like food places and stuff. I just been trying to learn how to cook more, you know, just trying to live on my own because a lot of places over here, I don't really kind of eat the food over here, but I've been finding my way over here fine. So it's just learning things like that.
So, what's some of your favourite things, like off court, sort of like, so your favourite food from here? What's some of the things that you're learning and enjoying learning?
um, Honestly, I haven't really even tried no like food over here besides like some spicy rice from like Nando's. Cause my coach, when I first got over here, my coach told me like Nando's was kind of like a famous restaurant. So I tried that out. So that's the only place that I've really tried out over here. And I just get fried chicken and chips. Like y'all call fries chips over here.
Yeah.
So I get that and spicy rice. But
Yeah.
other than that, I just eat pizza, chicken, and chips all day, really.
Sounds nice way. I'm trying to keep off of some of this stuff to lose a bit of weight, but I know Nando's have a special link, and I'm not surprised Coach recommend Nando's. I think they kept giving like Nando's gift cards to the man of the match or something from last season. Carl,
Yeah.
so for you guys living in Diggs, how's that been like this year compared to other years?
It's different. Like it comes back to the so many new guys that we have. Like we got a pretty big house, and like it's quite good though in terms of like getting to know everyone, because within the house that I live in, it's all basketball players. So even when we're not on the court and playing together or hanging out outside the training, we're all in the house together. So we're all cooking, we're all eating, we're all doing our bit around the house. So it's a nice environment to be in, and like it's just I think it's gonna bring us closer and closer together as a team.
Definitely. And Ocean, still sticking to sort of off court stuff. How's that been for you? Has it all been Reading always seemed to be quite a good club at sort of looking after players. What's it been like for you with COVID, living in the UK? What are some of your maybe challenges maybe you weren't expecting or something?
The main challenge I have right now is just like going to sleep at a decent time because I'm still like on American time. So like all my friends and my family, you know, I still talk to them at night, but it'd be early in the day over there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I haven't been asleep before 12 since I got here because like I'm just so used to American time. Like this is my first time out of the country, so I'm just trying to get used to
Definitely.
that. That's the biggest challenge so far.
Definitely. I imagine obviously it's quite nice for your family and friends over in the States to watch you on YouTube. Well, did they watch the game? What do they think of the game and the standard of play over here in the UK?
My brother watched the game. He thought that the game was like a lot different from American. He said like we play faster here, so I didn't really, you know, catch on to that until I rewatched the game, and we actually do like play a lot faster over here, and it's a lot of pick and roll where more as in America it's a lot of one-on-one basketball.
Definitely. I think he summed it up quite well to sort of play in NBL 1. A lot of fast players pick and roll. Is there anything else you really noticed from playing in D1 but sort of very synonymous with D1?
One of the things is like the physicality in Division One. There's a lot of like physical players, and it's a lot of like you said. So it is a lot of pick and roll within this league, and a lot of like set offenses when you get into the half court. Less sort of one-on-one style over here. But the main thing is like the bigger guys, and so we don't have insanely big guys, but everyone's physical to a point. where like it gets chippy and it gets very competitive.
Definitely. I think it's actually quite an opportunity to give show a bit more of induction because there's not much doubt to go on moment. Carl, who would you say is like maybe some of the quickest guys in the league, maybe most physical, and then thirdly, who's sort of the dominant of pick and rollers that O'Shea may come across this season?
I'd say the quickest guy in the league's on his team anyway. Like Reece Pinnock's just left us and went to go play for them. He's probably one of the quickest guys in the league. In terms of physicality wise, you've got your likes of like Travis Charles from Solent. You've got Malcolm Smith that plays at Derby. In terms of guys that will use the pick and roll well, Remo Lascelles is just signed for Derby from Leicester Riders. And like playing against him personally, I know he knows how to play the pick and roll. What else? We had Alex Roberts, who's not playing this season. He was one of the better pick and roll players in the league. Ian Smith from Solent, he knows how to run an offense. He knows how to play off the pick and roll. Andre Arisol, who's also in Solent's team, definitely knows how to use a pick and roll. One of the stars from the weekend, Cameron Hildreth, he definitely knows how to use that. He had a good game at the weekend against Essex Rebels. Those are some of the guys you got to worry about.
Yeah, and obviously you're paired with Loughborough's Carl here in this chat, and obviously Reece this season swapped Loughborough to Reading. How does he like to play with Ocean? What sort of things you've noticed with Reece and maybe some of the other guys? Give a little insight in terms of the guys in terms of training and playing with them.
Reece, he just always bring energy on defense. He always pressuring the ball. So we compete real well in practice. He helped me out. So in the future, I know that some teams going to probably start guarding me full court or probably trying to deny me the ball. So he just prepared me for that in practice. Also, Sam T, who is a veteran guy, I try to learn a lot of things from him. Just every time he's talking to me, just try to be a student of the game and just listen, because he's been playing pro basketball for like 15 plus years. And also just like Lim and Ben Dixon, they've been with this program for 2 years. So just taking it all in, just soaking the game up and just trying to be a student of the game my first year.
Definitely. And the dynamics wise, obviously Reading's quite as a pathway. You have the JMA Rockets and the Reading. Do you guys train with the academy guys? What's that been like? So must be different dynamics to train at uni and other places.
So we train with some of the younger guys. Sam Grant, he's on our team. Latrell, JT, Jacob, all those guys, they're on our team. So just watching them, I've been here for like 2 or 3 weeks now, and I've already seen progression from those kind of guys, playing against us every day and stuff. So I think those guys are going to help us too this year. We got like a deep bench, so they're all going to help us win this year.
Definitely. It's one of the things I like about Reading. They always give the youngsters go, if that's on the bench or a few minutes. And obviously Sam Grant started or played quite a lot for that game. Unfortunately, he was injured a lot last year, so we didn't get to see much of his game. But what can we see for Sam this year without giving away too much, Ocean?
I don't want to give y'all too much info, but I mean, he's a great shooter. Today I just found out he scored like 78 points in one game. So
wow.
Hopefully he can do that for us one game this year or something. I can get me some assists. We can get him some assists. So hopefully he do that. But he's a great shooter. He can defend pretty good. He can defend the 1 through 5 because he's a guard, but he's like 6'9". So I think he can help us defensively and around the 3-point line.
Definitely, it's a very exciting roster. Carl, obviously we spoke about Reece going to Reading. There's other guys from the Loughborough, Leicester, Chandler family. So obviously you've got Remus, Darby mentioned, Andre Whistle, who mentioned at Solent. Out of those guys, who do you think to have the biggest impact in the league? And where would you think the others sort of fit in terms of influential players?
I think they're all going to have a big impact in their own sort of way because you got your like you've also got Reese, who's a maniac on the defensive side of the game. Like I know from playing against him, he's going to pick you up full court, and I hated it when I played against him. You got your like Andre, who's at Seoul now, coming back from the States. You saw what he could do over the weekend. Like he's going to give you a lot within the however many minutes he plays. You've also got your likes of Max Richardson, who's just went to Worthing now. You could tell he was a bit of a problem for Essex just because he can play both inside and outside. So he was too quick for their big guys and he was too big for their small guys. So all the Loughborough guys, Rima as well. Rima is a massive Rima's like 6'6" and plays the 1. Like they're all going to have like a certain impact in different ways. So I feel like they're all of them are going to have a big year this year. Just hopefully not against us.
Definitely, I hear you there. And I remember I spoke to Max after the game. I said, well done. And then his first scene was like he felt he should have scored more, even though he did a great performance every in that game. In terms of teams do well, obviously everyone's going to say Solent, but I always thought you guys played really well against Solent. You always played well against the other teams. Is there something why is that, do you think? Is there something about a game that makes you play well, or what is it against the big sides where you guys do well?
I don't know. I think it's we prepare, like the way Mark and Liam prepare for our games at the weekends, like top level. Like our preparation building up to the weekend is always elite. I don't know. I think it's just we're always up for these big games because we're always seen as the team that is overachieving, and we're always the underdogs. So it's like that. I think that motivated all of us like the last couple of years to compete at the highest level. Like we'd rather play against the top teams in the league. Like that's more enjoyable than playing in a game where you blow a team out by 20. Like you want to be in those games. It's a 1 or 2 possession game.
Definitely. I don't know if you remember the last one at Solent in their beta season last season. I thought you guys almost had to win that game. Do you remember that game? What are your thoughts about that game?
Yeah, I remember that game well. I think we're all very emotional after that game because we thought we could have won that game. Like we had a couple of like poor possessions towards the end of the fourth, and we felt that that could have been a game that we should have won that game. Been Solent's first loss of the year, but credit to them. Like when we had a couple of poor possessions, that's what a championship team does. They capitalised, and we just got to be a bit smarter towards the end of the game in that situation.
One of the moments I remember, so I'll get to Ocean in a second, is I think it was a defensive possession. Reese, who is now your team, I'm sure he might mention this, Ocean. His shoe came off mid-play, and it's the brightest shoe in the court. You couldn't miss it. Bright, luminous green shoe, and he was waving it right in front of the ref while trying to get back in defensive position. Ref didn't call anything. I think Chris Starlett shot the 3, and that was pretty much a turning point.
Yeah. That was one of the big possessions in the game. Reese's shoe came off after I think he just scored as well, and his shoe came off and he was waving it right in front of the ref's face. Ref let the game carry on. Obviously, Reese is trying to get his shoe, and we're all scrambling defensively. They find their best shooter, makes a big 3, and I think that let them lose in the game. And they kind of went a bit downhill from that point.
Yeah, that was a really unfortunate moment. Ocean, have you been involved in games where maybe not a dodgy call, but something like that happened and you lost the game and you thought, oh, damn it, that should have gone our way. What about you?
No, I don't think I've been in those kind of games where like something crazy like that happened, but I've been in a few college games, where buzzer beaters and stuff like that happen. So I definitely feel the other side of the winning situation.
Definitely. And obviously you guys got a game this weekend. Are you ready? How's training this week? You ready to go for this weekend?
Yeah. So we just learned a lot of mistakes that we made in the last game. We're trying to fix those in practice, so hopefully we can get better at that and improve that next game. And then, it's all about just improving these last 2 preseason games. since we haven't been together. So right now we're just trying to fix all of our mistakes right now.
Definitely, and it was a tough game for you to be your debut. TBC came second last year, upgrade the squad, maybe a few changes. What were your thoughts on them? Because I appreciate it was a bit rusty, but for your first insight of NBL D1, what did you think went well for TBC in that game that maybe got them the win at expense of you guys losing?
You said for TBC?
Yeah, so that game, what did you think they did really well? Because you said obviously you guys were working on the things you thought you did do well.
They played Hamel.
Hell, sorry,
We
Hemel. Right. That's
played
it, yeah,
hell.
I remember. I say it's a
Um,
long night doing this. So what did Hemel do well? Thanks, Charles. Sorry.
yeah,
No.
but that game, I think we we competed very well. We started off pretty good, and then they kind of made a run. At in spurts, we showed that we can play together on offense. Move the ball around, share the ball, and in spurts, we proved that we could play pretty good defense. They got a good score, Mike Williams, and also Greg, who had like 18 rebounds. In spurts, we showed that we can compete with those guys, but they was just kind of veteran guys, and we're trying to find our identity right now. So we show spurts that we can compete at their level.
Definitely. And finally, as well, obviously, you guys didn't play in front of fans. How was that for you? Because obviously, in America, I think the game's much more well supported than here. What were some of your thoughts in terms of not playing crowd? How did that feel in terms of what you'd usually expect?
Like when I walked in the gym, I honestly had forgot that there wasn't gonna be any fans or stuff. But as soon as I walked in, I seen like our bench, we had chairs and it was like spaced out, like social distance. So it kind of hit me like, dang, like we kind of got to bring our own energy today. We're not gonna have any cheering from the crowds and stuff like that. So right then, I had to turn on the switch that we got to bring our own energy. We got to talk loud. So it's pretty quiet in the gym, so coach gonna know if you're not talking on defense and stuff like that. So it kind of puts you on the spotlight.
Definitely, I think that's right. It's definitely on the spotlight. Is that what you thought, Carl, watching these games? In terms of like if you're playing in front of no crowd, there's nowhere really to hide. Really, if you're not talking, it's quite obvious. Is that what you thought from watching the games?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna put you in a situation where you need to be vocal, or you're gonna get that's gonna get noticed straight away if you're not gonna be vocal both on the court and, like you said, like creating your own energy on the bench. Right, it may be socially distanced, but you still got to find a way to do it. Like we had a couple of preseason games, and it was really weird not having a crowd there or not being next to your teammates on the bench. Like it was really weird, but it's something you're gonna have to adapt to for this season at least.
Definitely, and I saw you guys play Derby, and you mentioned a few guys. What was that game like in terms of scrimmage? What were some things maybe came out of that game that you weren't expecting from Derby in terms of their team chemistry, or what were some of the highlights of that game?
It was a good. We played both Derby and we scrimmaged against the Riders. Both those games were learning stones for us. Like it was good to get back on the court, up and down, playing against someone else, not just yourselves and team training. Derby didn't have their full team that day, but they're going to be a very physical team for the year. They're going to be they could potentially start 5 guys who are taller than 6'5". Like they're going to be a team that's going to be towards the top end of the table this year. They're going to be physical.
Definitely. Apologies to James. Well, I believe TBC are your opponents this weekend, not last weekend. Has coach sort of given you any insight of what to expect from that team, or is it more about focusing on what you guys are doing? Because I definitely get a sense a lot of teams it's not really a lot of scouting, but they're more focused on what they can do in this preseason. Is that fair to say, Ocean?
Sorry, you was breaking up. I didn't even hear what you were saying.
So I said apologies to get the teams wrong. I believe you're playing TBC this weekend. Has coach sort of prepared you to play them, or is it fair to say it's more about how you guys played? So I definitely get a sense from talking to the other players. It's more the preparation is more about what you can do rather than the opposition. Maybe that's because it's pre-season in a way.
Yeah, mainly right now we just working on our self, just fixing things that we didn't do well last game. But coach said that the team that we're playing this week, they're a top team. They finished top in the league last year, I think. They have a lot of good players, some good guards that gonna compete well against me. So I need to be ready and stuff like that. But like this is my first year, so I don't really know anything about the league. I'm just coming out every day with just like a killer mentality to do that, to just go out there and play hard and compete whoever step in front of me.
I think that's the most. It's good to have a sense of who you play against, but I think if you go out of that killer mentality yourself, I think that's 70% really. You just start when you get a sense you're in the game. Thank you both for coming on. I hope, Carl, we see Loughborough soon. I'm hearing slightly, but maybe it might not be this weekend, but hopefully soon we'll get to see you guys in the Lynch Trophy or in the NBL. Stay safe, keep doing what you're both doing, and obviously, Ocean, good luck for this weekend, but hope to see you both soon. You both stay well, stay safe. Thanks for coming on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So next, it's moved to a 4-screen mode instead of a 3. You've seen otherwise from myself, Coach James Fair, Naz, and Ricky Fetzi from Newcastle and Bradford, respectively. Okay, we're just waiting for all the guests to be logged on the screen. It's going to take a slight pause just because, as I mentioned, we've got 3 guests on this last segment rather than just the 2. That's fitting all our guests as we try to get one person on every team. Unfortunately, we could get Blake Bowman for Derby on. Other commitments happened. We're back in. Hello, guys. Welcome to the evening. How are we all? I'll start with Coach James Spear. Welcome, Coach.
Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. I'm really looking forward to this show, previewing the NBL D1 season. I've got Naz, who was on Friday. Welcome, Naz. Hope you're well.
How you doing? You all right?
And then the next guy is a familiar face to you, as he obviously faced up with each other at the weekend. Welcome, Ricky, from Bradford Dragons.
Hey, Chris.
So I thought
Nice
we
to
did.
meet you all.
You're welcome. So I thought I'd start with Ricky. Obviously, you both played each other last game on the last year Saturday. Ricky first. How was that game for
Yep.
you, and what went well for you guys?
Well, I think we were pretty full strength, and one of the things notable is that Newcastle, it was obvious that they still had a lot of guys that still needed to join the team. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Nas there at the game. But I think what went well for us, I think all 11 guys on our team got on the scoring book. Everyone got involved. Then we got used to playing with one another. It was our first competition since March, and we've had guys. Everyone contributed. I thought it was a really good way to get started, just involved and just enjoying the competition once again.
Definitely, and I think that's what's great about the Lynch Trophy, sort of get us ready towards the season. Naz, obviously, I know you were at the Bear, but what was that game like for Newcastle? What was the reaction within the squad post game?
We still took a lot of positives from the game. I think we had 3 strong quarters. As a team, we had 4 guys that had just come up through like being undergrads in the university playing in their debut in Division 1. So I think for 3 quarters we were fighting well. It was the second quarter we got out rebounded, out muscled, and they blew us out there. But the other lot, as it goes, for what we had, the strength we were, still waiting on guys to come through. I think we did well. There was a lot of positives to take.
Definitely, not last but not least, Coach Spear, well done in sort of a close game with Solent. What was some of the highlights for you from that game? What went well from a coach's perspective?
I mean, for us, it was just great to get back on court. I just kind of echo what the other guys are saying. It was for us. It's been 6 months since we played a game, so I think our guys were just itching to get back on court and compete against another team instead of having just to play against ourselves in practice. So I thought we played pretty well for the majority of the game. The start of the fourth kind of hurt us where they went on a 15-2 run. But overall, there was lots of positives to take from the game. And we're just looking forward to just getting better every single week.
Definitely, I know you're on the Swishful Thinking pod. Just give a little breakdown, maybe people are unaware. Obviously, it's a bit of a change for you guys being Barking Abbey, London Lions. How did that come together? What does that mean for Barking Abbey this season and in the short-term future?
I mean, we've been speaking with the Lions for a while now, and our women's program is already integrated over to being called Barking Abbey London Lions. So it's been a work in progress over the last 2 or 3 years. For us, it's all about opportunities for our players to be able to play at the highest level. So, speaking with Vince and speaking with the Lions organisation, we saw it as a great opportunity for players that if we think that they're good enough, that they can progress into that London Lions squad and potentially play for them in the future. So it's still a bit of a work in progress. We're still talking about that partnership at the moment, but we think it's a really positive partnership, and we hope that over the coming years it will be really beneficial for the academy kids.
Definitely, it sounds a bit like what Loughborough have with Leicester and Chard would have that progression. Is that something you feel is really important in terms of retaining players in terms of a pathway? Is that something that's been a long-time aim for yourselves?
I think it is. I think for us, it's just all about opportunities as well, and I think that we do a pretty good job of trying to get players opportunities by the time they finish with us at the academy. So whether that be trying to get to America, we have still quite a lot of good links with UK universities as well, and this is just another opportunity for players potentially if they want to stay in the country. And being able to play BBL basketball in the future. So it's just another opportunity, and I'd love to see some of our best British talent being able to turn pro over in this country. If the league continues to grow like it is, then that could be something that players in the future continue to do.
Definitely, and I think we want to see times players progressing and getting that chance to play pro. Naz, obviously you came on Friday, you sort of hinted that you guys be a bit underhanded for that game. We obviously got game 2 coming up this weekend. Are you guys getting more figures in? I don't want to give away your team sheet, but give us a little bit of insight on what we can expect this week.
We're slowly getting stronger by the day. We're still waiting on international clearance from a few of our guys, so they'll be dropping in slowly throughout the next few weeks. We still got another guy to fly in. A lot of our guys are back. There was an issue with student accommodations, but that's all starting to sort itself out. The numbers are dropping in the northeast, but we're just trying to be as safe as possible to keep everyone across the league safe and make sure it stays running. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. So, yeah, hopefully we'll be back to full strength as soon as possible. I'm definitely looking forward to getting out there this weekend, being back allowed to play.
Look forward to see you out there. And
sure.
Ricky as well. Well, there was a few new faces inside from last season. What do some of these new guys add to your already impressive roster?
Probably some versatility. So especially we got Time and Uche coming from Liverpool, and they're both big guys, big forwards, and they could score in different ways, rebound really well, defend well, and they're just great guys in general. And then so Edvards, he's coming up from the university at Bradford, and he's a young Latvian guy that just can get a bucket. And then, of course, we have all the returning guys from last year. So I think we just have a core group, and I really enjoy the squad. It's going to be fun.
Definitely. Maybe the general question to all three of you is, from the first weekend, I know we can't read too much, a lot of game rustiness. Were there players or teams that stood out for you as good performances? I'll start with you, Coach. Who stood out for you from the game week 1?
I mean, the obvious one is Cam Hildreth had a good first weekend. I know Cam pretty well. I spoke to him before his game, and he was excited to get back on court and play. I've watched all the games pretty much. I think I was impressed just by the standard in general. I thought all of the teams had uh, times in the games where they played really well. I think the standard of Division One is impressive this year, and I think that it's better this year than it was probably last year. And I don't think there is going to be a weak or weaker team. I think that everyone on their day is going to be able to beat anyone, and that's good for the league.
Definitely. Ricky, do you feel like it's always been in the league for a while? Do you feel like this year's better than last year in terms of player quality or squad depth? What are some of your thoughts from watching the games at the weekend on the standard for leadership?
Yeah, well, I think teams are very strong this year. Just like Coach, I got a chance to watch some of the games. I really like how all the games are televised, and all the money YouTube to share them with some friends and family back in America. So I was impressed by Thames Valley, Reading. I watched Hemel a little bit. So the Americans from Hemel, they're coming back. Thames Valley, they got Lewis Champion. They have a good offensive squad there. And then Reading also seems to have a good, talented squad. I think teams recruited well. There's talent all around the league. And I could also agree with what Coach said. I think on any day, any team can really be competitive. And if you rebound well, and if the shots are falling and you're defending, I think you could win. That's our mindset. The Dragons is that we can win no matter who we're playing, but we're looking forward to definitely playing Sisters this season.
Definitely, Naz. I know you couldn't play this weekend, but did you catch many of the games? Who are some maybe the individuals who you thought impressed you?
I managed to watch pretty much every single game while I was doing nothing at home. But yeah, I was very impressed with what's going on across the league. Like seeing Max Richardson come back and have a 20 and 10 game to complement Cameron Hildreth's 37. That's going to be a big team this year with Worthing. Lewis joining Thames Valley with Blaine again. They had success up in Northumbria together. But we as Newcastle just believe we're going to stick to our brand of basketball, keep our identity, and we can challenge anyone this year. So
definitely, I saw you you praising Max Richardson for his performance. Obviously, you got Worthing, Lynch and stuff. Are there other guys out there, but you think will dominate the double-double this year? In terms of being a big threat in terms of points, maybe rebounds, assists. Who do you think will be some of the guys who impressed you so far and made it those double doubles?
Malcolm Smith's been doing it for a few years in the league now. He's been a double-double machine. Zaire Taylor, again, he's constantly putting together assists for his team and doing what his team needs. He's had 10 steals in the game as well, multiple times that I've seen.
Yeah.
So there's guys across the league that can definitely do it just like Max does, but that's my boy, so I had to pick him up.
Definitely. I think Zaire got 6 steals this game, but I felt like he was doing a different role for the team. And Coach, you said that you spoke to Cam pre-game, and I'm really keen to find out. Obviously, I enjoyed watching you guys play in Europe in the Adidas Next Generation tournament. Will you guys be doing that if you can? And if so, will you be getting Cam on speed dial again for that?
We'll definitely. We've definitely been invited back to go again. It's just a matter of seeing what happens with COVID over the coming months. We would love to go back again if we can. And take Barking Abbey back there and try and add maybe a couple of British talents again to the squad and try and do what we kind of did last year. I think it was a real positive for basketball in the UK and especially for Barking Abbey. So yeah, we would love to go back again, but I mean, it's not, if I'm honest, it's not looking good at the moment with everything that's going on. So it might be a year where that kind of doesn't happen, but we would love to go back in the future.
Definitely. And what were some of your thoughts on that? Did it, when you went into that tournament, did you have the expectations to do as well as you did? And maybe were you expecting Cam individually to get into the final 5 in terms of squad highlights? What were some of your thoughts about that going into the tournament?
We didn't. I mean, expectation-wise, we just the biggest thing I told our guys was we just wanted to compete and try and be in every game. That's where I kind of saw it. It was I told them we weren't just representing Barking Abbey, we were representing the whole of the UK, and sometimes we don't get the respect that sometimes I feel like we deserve. So I really told our guys that we were kind of representing everyone back home, and playing Badalona in the first game, who were pre-tournament favourites. I just hoped that we could compete, and I said if we were, in it with a couple of minutes left, we had arguably one of the best players in the tournament, and you could see at the end of the game he just took over. And pre-tournament, I didn't know if Cam was going to be one of the best players there, but I know I've known Cam since he was very young, and I know that he's a special talent, and I know that he loves to play on the big stage. That's one thing with Cam, is he loves to play in big arenas with the bright lights. And I knew if the stage is big, he's gonna step up, and obviously he did.
Definitely. And Ricky, obviously, a lot is mentioned about Cam, he's a special talent, but Sol has played in the league for a while. How does he stack up to other players you've seen playing the NBL? But also, who are maybe some of the other talents you've seen this season that you think ones to watch out for?
Yeah, well, Cam can, it seems is very, very talented, and I see that he's getting Division I offers, and he has a bright future ahead of him. And so I think that he can compete along with anyone else in this league. I mean, teams are obsessed with talent, and I think it really depends on the coaching and the system and kind of role. And if all the pieces fall together, there could be a lot of successful players and performances consistently throughout the year, I think.
And definitely in terms of leadership, you and Rihard probably the main leaders in the squad for this season. But are there any other guys who sort of maybe got more responsibility this year than maybe they would have normally?
Well, Albert Margai, for me, is one of the biggest leaders on the team, and he's someone I look up to massively. And, he had a lot of success playing in the BBL for Essex, winning the championship for Essex. And also Andreas, I really like his leadership at the court. I like speaking with him. And obviously Richard Lang. I mean, he might not be as outspoken as other members of the team, but he leads by example, and he's as consistent as they come, especially defensively. And I mean, I could name everyone on the team and talk about their value and different leadership qualities that they possess, but I just really love my squad. And I mean, now that we got started, the ball's rolling, literally. So I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Definitely. And after, obviously, I had you on in the summer. It was great to talk to you. But after I had you on, I had Mr. Saltz on. And I wasn't expecting what he came to say. So if you remember the Solent game, you won, I think it was season before last. And he said, but he told Andreas in the timeout not to listen to the coach. But it worked out well. What were your memories from that game? Do you remember him saying to Andreas, don't listen to the coach? Or what were your memories of that one?
Well, that's just classic Richard right there, but
yeah,
you got to love him. So I was actually injured that game. It was the last game before Christmas, and I was watching from the sideline, so I had a good vantage point. And obviously, I was in the huddle, and I saw the play that got going up. And to be fair, Solent defended it pretty well. Richard was demanding the ball and shot a miracle end. But what's not really mentioned, because this has been mentioned multiple times now, is that Richard made a 3 on the previous possession, drew a charge on the next possession, and then made the buzzer-beating game-winning 3 the following possession. And if you put all those together, it's one of the most incredible finishes probably in NBL history. Also to end Solent's 12, 13 game winning streak at that point in the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Richard, he's a Division I legend. You look at the numbers, best player in history, in my opinion, and it's been really great to be his teammate these 7 years on the Dragons.
Definitely. That's why I like having these conversations, because I think no one knows the context, and I certainly didn't know what you said there, because it's hard to, unless you look at the live stats and sort of go into the play-by-play, these things are missed. So that's why I love talking these shows. And Naz, to include you on the leadership topic, the guys coming in, do they add that leadership value? Because sometimes that really helps the team. If you've got someone who's there, who to carry you over the line, are there the guys coming back next week, the sort of guys who can really help in those situations?
Yeah, for sure. We've got guys that have come with lots of experience in the States. Like we've got guys coming to do their masters and play over here. We're learning from them. They're learning from the guys that have come from the system last year, played with Mark, understood his ways, and I personally feel like we all understand him a lot more. He understands us a lot more, and us pushing it to the new guys that are coming in, it's all looking really good. It's competitive in practice. We're just waiting until everyone can get out there now.
Definitely. Hopefully you guys have a game this weekend. I know there's some still affected. I think the NBL though mentioned that in due course. Coach, obviously Ferran had an amazing game against Solon, and in the aftermath, I think you were saying that he's become more of a leader figure. What do you think we can see from Ferran this season that maybe we didn't see so much last year?
He's definitely going to become more of a leader for us this year, and I've given him that responsibility. He's quite a quiet kid by on the court and off it, and I think that he's a bit more of a lead by example kind of player. But he's done a really good job of being more outspoken this season so far. He knows that his role has increased, not only leadership wise, but on court and off court. And I think that him and Flynn Boardman, especially, both of them have taken on that leadership role really well. We have an older player with us, Jace Harrison, who's come over from UEL. And Jace has been great, kind of mentoring some of the guys as well. Obviously, most of you know that the team is very, very young. Everyone on the team is under 19 except for Jace. So we need those kind of that leadership. We need that throughout the season, and those three especially are doing a really good job of that.
Definitely, I felt like watching the NBL. I've seen that you guys seem to be getting better and better each year. And like I did see you recruit some. You sent me an email to Strad. I was like, I had to double check the ages right. So I'm so used to you guys having under 18, under 19 players. Is that something to see from Barking more? Do you think maybe mixing the youth with a bit more experience, or do you think we'll predominantly see an under 19 side for Barking?
Each year it's a little bit different. It can change year on year. Some years we feel like we have the talent where we will just go purely under 19, purely British. And then some seasons we might think that to be a little bit more competitive, we might have to add a player here or a player there. For me personally, I like to have a couple of older guys on the team. It's nice to have that leadership, especially players that have played at a higher level. They can kind of talk from experience to the younger guys. Helps a lot throughout a season, especially, and we've done that over the last couple of years. We've been majority, it has been under 19, but we usually add maybe one or two. Like Tim Shadipo was with us last year, and he did a really good job of mentoring the guys. For us, it's more important that the players that we bring in are great people more than them necessarily being great players. Having to be around the under 19 kids for the whole season, it's important that they're great people and they mentor our younger players.
Definitely, and I know I've mentioned before about Lazat leadership, but what more can we expect from some of these players in Newcastle? What's because I don't think with you guys lads it all at one go. And there's some players coming in stages, and obviously not all of them are available for game one. Without giving away too much, what can we expect from the squad when it's fully there? How do you think you guys will match up?
We're definitely going to be competitive this year. We've got a strong squad. We're looking to push for a playoff spot 100%, and I don't think anything's holding us back as long as we keep working hard and training, try and get the guys in as quickly as possible, and gelling them in as they come in. We've got some of the guys here that just aren't internationally cleared yet, and they look great in practice. Things are looking good. Like things are coming together. We've been with each other over a month now, so. We're definitely trying to compete this year. It's not like we're coming in from Division 2, having a successful season, trying to just scrape it, even though there's no relegation this year. We're trying to push for a higher spot that we can, and we definitely believe we can do it.
Definitely, and I definitely feel like this season's the NBL's grown year on year, and a lot of squads got added depth. Maybe that's for COVID reasons, or maybe that's because they can. In terms for all of you guys, what challenges do you think that could pose having a bigger squad? I'll start with you, Ricky. Like obviously, the team's got bigger squads. What sort of challenges does that pose compared to maybe having less players, but maybe more team chemistry?
It's an interesting question because I really don't see many negatives of having a big squad. I mean, it makes it competitive in practice. You can get consistent 5-on-5. So we have 11 guys on our team, and then we're going to have another one joining us from the Air Force in the year. He comes back from his deployment, Billy Cousins. So I think everyone on the team has been in Division One before. They know the value that they have. They know their roles on the team, and something that we identified in the first game is that everyone was really together, just had really good spirit, really good attitude. We were making a lot of noise, and obviously it's easy to make a lot of noise when things are going good. But I can anticipate that when we'll have really competitive games, we'll still have that same togetherness. And I think that'll probably be one of our biggest strengths moving forward.
Well, you coach, do you think like squad size matters, or is it sort of just more the merrier? What's your take on it as a coach?
We like to have our Division One squad is well. We have we don't call it a Division One squad. We have 20 boys in our academy. We have players that are currently in the Division One team, but the great thing about having 20 academy boys is always competition for places. We train together a lot, so we get to see that competition daily. And some players will overtake other players, and the beauty of that is we're able to put players up into the Division One team and then drop players into a Division Three team if we need to. So I believe, just like Ricky said, competition for places is a good thing. It's not a negative at all. I think that competition kind of keeps everyone competitive at practice, and everyone's working to try and get minutes in that Division One team.
Naz, I see you nodding there. I know you've been on a few rosters. Is that the same for you, or have there been sort of times you thought actually a smaller squad would work better? What are your thoughts on it, Naz?
I mean, I've been part of smaller squads in the past, and one of my years at Worthing going towards the final, I think we had 7-8 guys at practice leading up to it. We had 8 guys sitting on the bench for it, and it makes it harder, definitely, but you've got to adjust to do it. Luckily at Newcastle, we're blessed. We've got 15, 16 guys that are all ready to go competing for places, so it's definitely more helpful to have more guys there, people going at each other, fighting for minutes. It creates a good identity of training. Everyone's pushing each other, going to take everyone's minutes. Like it creates a culture of no one's safe. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's trying to play to get their minutes and get on the court and have a good year. And it's definitely pushed each other this year. There being more guys on the team, 100%.
Definitely. I think when I look at a lot of rosters, I think for me it's hard to see a starting 5, especially with quite a few sort of having quite a lot of talented, a good depth to squad. I really appreciate everyone coming on. It's sort of been a preview show with a twist. But if you guys are our last guests on tonight before we finish, I'd love to hear some predictions. It might not just be who you think did well, might be a sort of player do a certain thing. Start with you, Coach. What are some of your predictions that you think we'll see this season in terms of maybe how a team finishes or how a player will get a 60-point day? What sort of things do you think we'll see this year?
I think, like I said, I think the league's going to be very competitive. I think that you have to still have Solent as the early favourites. I think they've added players this year. I think that they're still getting to know each other as a team. So I think that when they start to gel as the weeks go on, I think they're going to be a scary team again, just like they were last year. Adding Andre Aerosol, Orlan Jackman to that team, I mean, it's a scary team when you look at it on paper. I think that Thames Valley will be very good again. Bradford, with the continuity they have there every single year. I've got to be honest, I hate playing against Bradford and Ricky and Richard and coaching against Chris because they're one of the toughest teams to play. And the teams that come up, I think, will be competitive too. As saying, Newcastle, I think will be good. I was really impressed with parts of the game from Essex as well. So it's going to be a really competitive league this year. I'm excited to see all the teams. If I had to pick a kind of dark horse to maybe challenge Solent, I think I would say Derby. I think the Derby are a really strong team. Malcolm Smith, one of the best players in the league. They've added players as well to that roster, and Matt's one of the more underrated coaches in our league for sure. So if I had to pick a dark horse, I think I would go with Derby.
And is there any individuals to have like an amazing game? I know Cam had a few amazing games. What do you think we should get from him in terms of points do you think he'll do, like a 50-point game? Or who else do you think will have a really good blowout game?
I hope he doesn't go for 50 this weekend against us. That's not going to happen. I can tell Cam that now. I mean, I think that there's some guys that Mike Williams at Hemel he's tough. Him and Greg are a really dangerous combo. I could see Mike having some huge games, some 40 points games, high 30s. Wouldn't surprise me if he had a couple of those kind of games. I haven't seen, some of the Americans. I mean, Derby. I think that Malcolm Smith. He's just a walking double. He's a 20 and 10 guy every single game, pretty much guaranteed. It'll be interesting to see. I think there's a lot of talent. Lewis Champion's another one dropping down from BBL to Division 1. I mean, when he was at Northumbria, he was regularly putting up 30-point games. So he's another one that I expect him and Blaine will be one of the best backcourts in the league. So it's a lot of talent. It's a lot of stress for me having to prepare for all these guys. So, yeah.
Naz, what about you? Who do you think who will have some of the key individual performances and maybe a rough prediction, or maybe one or two teams you think will do really well this year?
Going on from what James said, I think Lewis and Blaine are going to have a strong year. They've already won a championship together up here in Newcastle with Northumbria, so they've got experience in this league. They've won it before, and I think being back together, they know how each other play. They're going to play off each other, play well with each other already with the strong base that Thames Valley have. So they're going to be tough this year. I think Worthing again are going to be very tough. They've added Max, who's coming home. Cameron's just forever improving and going to the States next year, so he's going to be tough. They've also got the experience of Zaire, who's a two-time MVP in this league. I think across the league, everyone's really strong. I think Reading have made some really good signings. I saw that. I was impressed with them. Bradford are always going to be fighting. You know that they're going to be aggressive and push every team to the limit. So across the league, I feel like everyone's going to have great performances. It's whoever's game every single week.
Yeah. And finally, you, Ricky, any players you think would have a standout individual game, or some of your thoughts of what to expect this season?
Well, I appreciate my two fellow guys on the stream right here shouting out Bradford, because my first prediction for will be next year. I mean, that's the standard we're trying to set in training every day, and so that's what we're expecting to try to compete. I think who was not mentioned yet with Thames Valley is Taylor Johnson, and he had a phenomenal season last year. I got to play with him in the Bradford tournament 2 years ago. It was from Dartmouth, the Ivy League guy from Texas. And, I got to spend a lot of time with him, and he's a solid guy. So, and obviously really talented on the court. So I think that's one of the teams to beat. So, I mean, obviously they're coming off of a very incredible season last year, getting all the way to the final. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams that are stacked, but, as I previously alluded to, I'm focusing on getting better every day to put out the best product for Bradford and for me to be healthy and to try to be a leader on my team so that we can, compete with the best teams in the league. I also think, the scoring will probably be high, near the hundreds, as, the new version of basketball is kind of the days of scoring 60 points a game, playing really good defense is kind of over, where you're trying to score 14 seconds of shot clock, a lot of so I'm anticipating there will be a lot of high-scoring teams, high-scoring players, but I think it'll all be really good to watch. Hopefully most of the games are streamed and the fans can still take part, even if they can't be spectators at the game itself. And I hope that there's not too many delays with COVID, that there's not too many teams that need to isolate and too many missed games. But I think the BE did a pretty good job of kind of having that cushion, that if that happens, that there's not any relegation kind of zone. So, I mean, it should be an interesting year, and I'm really excited.
Definitely. And I think before we round it up, if you're sort of headed into this weekend, I know a lot of teams for speaking to saying their roster's not complete. If you had to start a transfer room, and now who one of the free agents might go to a club, who do you think could be signed up? For instance, AJ Roberts said he might be back soon. Do you think we'll see him at Hemel, or do you want to see him reunite with TBC with Blaine and Lewis? Who's the other guys who you know haven't got a club? You think, oh, we might see him there, or do you think most of the dealings are done by now? Start with you, coach.
I'm the wrong person to ask about this. I have no idea about rumors or anything. You'd have to ask my guys. They are the rumor kings. They love a rumor.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't know. I have no idea. You might the other guys might have better idea than I do.
Or if the Barton guys are watching, leave a comment with your rumour who you think might do something. It's always good to have a light-hearted discussion, and it also gets those players' names out who are still without a club. Naz, Ricky, any rumours you think might happen, or maybe not rumours to say, but things you'd like to see, players a free agent you think need to do about the club? I'll start with you, Naz. You're smiling. I think you got something up your sleeve.
I'm smiling because I don't know what to say. I
Oh.
don't know about any rumours, any free agent. Like right now, we're just really focused on ourselves and getting ourselves to the level we're at, so we can compare with everyone across the league. It's already strong enough, so we're really focused on ourselves, not trying to look too far across the league to see what's going on.
Of course, I can appreciate that with you athletes and professionals sort of locked in. Is that the same for you, Ricky, or is there a player you'd like to see back in the league but you think's not already with a club?
Yeah, kind of like what Nas was saying. I'm not really focused on what's out of my control. Any free agent, anything happen at any other club. It's really what we can control, which is 100% effort every day and getting better.
Definitely. I say thank you for all coming on. I think we've got a little bit of time. Coach, obviously you've got Worthing this weekend. What are you expecting from them? I know we mentioned Killer Cam, but what else do you think we'll get from them?
Yeah, we've been watching the tape this week as a staff and as a team. So obviously Cam has the ball in his hands a lot of the time, but they're by no means a one-player team. Max has added a lot to that team. Zaire is still Zaire. Ishmael, Tom Ward, who I think is one of the more underrated players in the league as well. Tom's a great player and seems to have more of a role this year than he's had in previous years. So I think that he's a dangerous player for them. So we're expecting, Worthing have been up there with the top 2-3 teams in the league year in, year out. So we're expecting a tough test. We'll be prepared and we're excited to get back on court this weekend.
And Naz, I know Group 3 and Group 4 has been affected a little bit by COVID in the last week or so, but if your game with Derby goes on, what are some of the key battles you're expecting from them?
They're a very great team. There are some big names on their team. They're always ready to compete. But like I say, we're focused on ourselves. If we do everything that we know we can do, we know that we can beat any team in the league. So we're really focused on that. We've got a couple more sessions this week before the game, so we're just knuckling down and thinking about that, trying to get ready.
And finally, you, Ricky, if your game goes on with Maestro, wait for confirmation, all that from NBL, what do you think we'll get from them?
So start at the top with Myers Co. You got Neil Hopkins. I have tremendous respect for him, and I've spoken to him many times on and off the court. So he'll definitely be having them ready to play at a high level. They have the youth, they have athleticism, they have talent, they have some size. So we'll be prepared for that, and I think it should be a nice competitive match.
Of course, and fingers crossed all the games go ahead. We are hearing about maybe one or two of games like tense, but NBL will give the latest news probably tomorrow on the update. Thank you for everyone's come on. Of course, my three guests just now, Coach, Ricky and Naz. Thanks for all coming on, contributing. Really excited for the NBL season. I think it's going to be one of the more competitive seasons at both ends. Thank you again for coming on and stay safe. And I look forward to chatting to you soon and seeing you guys in action.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you very much. See you later.
Thanks.
Good luck, fellas.